Good morning. Welcome in. This update presented by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Starting off with the Padres. They fall yesterday to the Brewers 1-0 after Michael King took a no-hitter into the seventh inning. Day off today before the Padres welcome the Blue Jays to town for a weekend series starting tomorrow. Sticking with the Pods, yesterday the team announcing that Yu Darvish headed to the 15-day IL with neck tightness. NBA play-in tournament last night was the Eastern Conference. The 76ers advance. They'll take on the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. Bulls and Heat play tomorrow alongside the Kings and the Pelicans in the West to decide who takes those last two spots in the NBA playoffs. Anderson's drain stoppage guarantee solves issues for $63 or it's on the house. Nobody wows clients like they do. Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air has been privileged to serve over 500,000 residential clients for more than 45 years. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, happy Thursday. It's already Thursday.
Woo!
To those who celebrate.
It's tomorrow. We're pouring drinks.
It's a Bar Car Friday, folks.
Good
Brought to you by
Lord.
Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. We are pumped for that. We're also pumped for the Padres to get back off the schneid. No, I'm kidding. The Padres had a chance to sweep the Brew Crew. They had a chance to go on a 4-game tear. And they let a great pitching performance by Michael King slip away. The normally potent Padres offense, they struggled to post any runs. And so a 1-0 loss to the Brewers last night. King looked sensational. He's pitching a no-hitter for part of the way. And really blamed himself for the loss. You got to love a pitcher who goes out there and performs the way he did and then comes back and goes, yeah, I really let that one slip between my fingers and just wish I could have that one pitch back. And you're just like, what?
Right.
Buddy, you did everything you could. Hey, Padres offense. Hey, Bats. I know you're a little tired from, just all those hits in the early innings a day earlier, but maybe just go ahead and get them two. Just one crooked number in one inning. It would have been all they needed.
Does seem like that offense could have mustered a couple. Just a couple. Didn't happen. It's fine.
Also,
it's
you
fine.
said mustard, and that reminded me that I was at a s'mores thing for the Boy Scouts for my oldest.
And mustard?
Oh, dude, there was like 2 fires down on the beach from where we were set up.
Yeah.
Somebody was roasting wieners over the fire in their campsite. It's not camp, we're on the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, what a brilliant idea to go to the beach all day long and then just somewhere in the cooler, because hot dogs don't go bad. Hot dogs,
you can eat them right out of the cooler.
You could just literally go raw dog. Just I've done it. Just a couple of ballpark franks.
I've done it recently.
God, that's gross. We'll get back to that. But can you imagine just sliding a couple of dogs on a s'more stick and then having at it over a fire after a long day at the beach? Nothing sounds
perfect.
better.
If there was a fire right here, right now, it sounds perfect.
Oh my gosh.
999. I'm telling you guys.
No. Like, we don't need to eat 9 hot dogs in a very short amount of time in order to enjoy a hot dog.
You could do maybe let's say 2, 3, 9.
That'd be
9
cool.
beers.
Yeah,
no, it's that 9
for
innings
sure.
at the end.
Oh, I thought
9 innings, right? So maybe 2 hot dogs, a few beers in 9 innings.
My brain went the same place, Fletch. It was like, right, 2 hot dogs, 3 innings, 9 beers, nap time.
That sounds like way more fun. Yesterday would have been the worst game ever to do the 999 because of how fast it was moving. Because Michael King was literally just on the mound, get the call, throw the pitch, get a ground out. Everything was like so softly hit by the Brewers and everything was so quick. It felt like he was set up to actually throw the no-hitter.
That'd been cool.
And TD and I were in here watching the game when it was going on and it was in the sixth inning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He gets into the 7th with the no-hitter and then it's the blooper. It's like it's not even hit hard. It's just a softly hit little bunt that goes over the first baseman's head.
Who was it that grabbed that hit down the line, though?
Oh, no, it was Bat. No, first baseman. Yeah, it was Batten.
Batten.
Yeah, Batten. A sensational layout, first base dive to the foul line, and it was an awesome play. And you always see 1 or 2 of those in a no-hitter. And so I thought that the magic was there.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening.
If a play like that is happening, like I can remember, do you guys remember Matt Cain used to play for the Giants?
Yes, yeah.
He threw a perfect game one time, and one of the most sensational plays an outfielder has ever made was Gregor Blanco, who is only known for this one reason. because he made a ridiculous diving play out in the gap at it used to be, what was the Giants ballpark?
Candlestick?
No, it was
No,
Pac
that's
Bell.
Pac
Bell Park.
Yep,
and
yep,
so
yep,
he
yep.
made this dive in the like corner, which goes all the way out to like 425 or something. And it's one of the most crazy plays in baseball history, but it could only happen in a perfect game, you feel like.
Well, to your point, the soft single that goes the other way off of I think what was his name? Adams, whoever's bad.
Some loser.
So this is what King says about that. He goes, poorly executed. He walked 2 batters in the second inning and then retired 15 straight before surrendering his first hit. He goes, I was trying to go up and in. I pulled it away. So I think I gave him a little more of an opportunity. And, and that's just how it goes. Basically, is how we wrap that up. It's like, I love that. I love the way this team is talking this year. I love the fact that there's personal accountability. I love the fact that these guys appear to be fighting hard, not only for each other, but for themselves, because they care. That was the thing that was missing. That's the secret sauce it felt like was missing last year. Now, I can't speak on the entire clubhouse. I can only speak on what we know to be true. We heard the words from Juan Soto, and it was early enough in the season where it made your stomach turn, and it really tainted things the rest of the way for fans, because you're like, if they don't care, why should we care? If they're saying things like we give up sometimes, why should we be all in? It was such a, I don't know. It was just such a contradictory feeling where I am a Padres fan and I want to see the Padres do well. But at the same token, you feel like, wow, what an entitled way to look at what you get to do on a daily basis. Well, you got fans out there who are trash collectors or, hammering nails into roofs, or, you know what I mean? Some people who always wish that they could play baseball on a weeknight instead of going to some office.
Yeah. And by the way, out there busting it to make some money so they can go buy a ticket to the game to see these guys go out there and give it their all, just like the trash collector does, just like the HVAC guy does, just like the plumber does.
Yeah, running wire, hammering nails, turning wrenches, and then you're going to say, yeah, sometimes we give up. It's like, well, do you know how many kids were bought a Juan Soto jersey ahead of this season, and you're telling us that you give up, Juan? Like, that's the stuff that just doesn't sit right with fans. And so far this season, man, and I'm not just saying this because they got a winning record, and I'm not just saying this because we're coming off of a couple of winning series in a row. It's felt this way this season. The season feels different than it did last year.
Well, because the way those wins are coming.
Yeah.
They're getting wins after being down. And that did not happen last season. And that's when the sometimes we just go give up line came in, because they got down a few runs and they're like, we'll do it tomorrow.
So 4-2 road trip, which I think any of us would have signed up for in a heartbeat before that road trip started. Juan Soto, by the way, the guy that said the never give up line, did hit a home run yesterday.
Brown there.
I think he was 3 for 3 by like the 5th inning for the Yankees yesterday.
That's right.
But regardless of that, Jerkson Profar has been awesome this year. The Padres now come back home.
He's the new Juan Soto.
Yeah, honestly, I think future Hall of Famer. Anyways,
maybe.
you were saying?
Padres come back home. They'll get the Blue Jays. And TD, I know you got a Blue Jays guest on. Do you want to share some insight on who is coming on the show today?
Well, you tasked me.
No, we didn't.
Wait, hang on.
No one tasked me.
No. I did. Okay.
Yesterday after the show.
Yeah. So we're walking out of the studio together, me and TD. You had, gotten on your scooter and just, I don't know, you were wheeling around super fast. I don't know where you were heading, but you left us in your dust. You literally his wheels spun.
Yeah, there was like gravel that flew up out of the carpet somehow.
All of a sudden you you just see just rubber left on the road. So
somehow Dirk's Bentley was playing. I don't know what happened.
And so I say to T, he's like, hey, so what do we got coming up tomorrow? I'm like, well, geez, I was like, the Padres start their home series against the Blue Jays. And then immediately, knee-jerk reaction. I kid you not, leaving zero room for any other thought. He goes, I should probably reach out to someone from the Audubon Society. I was like, why would you do that? And he goes, Blue Jays.
Yeah.
What is an Autobahn? I thought that was a freeway in Germany.
Well, no, that's a different Autobahn. The Audubon Society is birds.
So at 7
we got
o'clock,
a Blue Jay guy.
We have a bird expert joining the show because quite literally we're going to discuss Blue Jays.
I'm pumped.
I cannot wait to confuse the living daylights out of this guest when I go, so Vladdy Jr., what do you think about his bat so far? This is going to be an interesting one. Buckle up, Buttercup.
I'm very excited here.
No fair dodging
Yeah,
in sports talk radio. Sometimes you get baseball experts like Danny Vietti, who will also join the show, CBS Sports. And sometimes you talk birds.
Yep. Robert Nickel, avid birder, advocate, and board member with the San Diego Autobahn.
When you sent that text yesterday, it just, what?
Blue Jay guy.
Right over my head.
There's the Blue Jay guy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dig down deep, guys. We're gonna know a lot about him.
7 o'clock, you are ridiculously confused and have no idea what's going on. Wait for 7:30 because that's when Danny Vietti will join the show. And Danny Vietti is one of those baseball nerds that Rich was talking about yesterday, who was telling us the entire season that the Padres have to turn this around. This is impossible. What's happening? Well, they never really did. So now this year, if what's happened so far is impossible to be happening and it's supposed to go the other way, Danny will let us know.
I don't think anybody's going to be confused. I mean, clearly it's the Blue Jay guy.
Right.
We're talking Blue Jays.
There's also this story that we covered some yesterday, and I think this ruffled feathers, no pun intended. But the Diamond Sports Group story that came out about how the Padres were given $80 million in settlement, or some part of $80 million in settlement from Diamond Sports Group after they filed for Chapter 11 and had a failure to pay what was owed to the Padres for the Padres selling them their broadcast, their regional sports network broadcasting rights. And so this was obviously a crummy situation for all parties concerned, but it was made to feel much crummier. And whether that was pure inference or there were actual quotes from the organization discussing the hardship, the inference was this one's really going to hit us hard. Plus, there was talk of outstanding loans and things that needed to be paid down from like a financial front office standpoint. Those were source reports we saw at the very tail end of last season on the Padres front. And then they cut payroll significantly over this offseason. So last year's termination of the Padres contract arrived as the club pushed spending to a franchise record $256 million. Major League Baseball agreed to backstop the Padres at 80% of its Bally contract for 2023, which means that they gave them 80% of the Bally contract. This is all from the Jeff Sanders piece in the UT yesterday. The Padres cut opening day payroll by more than $90 million to start 2024, although team officials have downplayed the impact the loss of the Diamond contract would have on finances moving forward. The team's current payroll projection for $161 million is good for 15th in major leagues, according to information tracked by Sports Track. The Padres ranked third last year. So they dropped from third in major league spending on payroll all the way down to the middle of the pack. And the Padres, or I should say Major League Baseball, made up 80% of the Bally's contract. They were also awarded $80 million in arbitration confidentially between them and Bally Sports and a federal judge. And I think we were all kind of left to believe that this was really like they got the screws put to them and this was really hurting them. And there's a lot of reasons why they needed to cut payroll.
Now, so far, and Darren Smith had Daniel Kaplan, who originally broke this story on yesterday, and so far the Padres have only collected 10 of that 80 million or 78 million.
Well, that was the upfront payment. That was $10 million.
So, and I guess Daniel Kaplan said there's actually room for Bally or Diamond to be able to wiggle their way out of the rest of the 60 million that they would owe. Now, I don't know the legal terms. I don't think any of us here would actually understand what's happening, but he said there's wiggle room somehow for Diamond to get out of that rest of the money. But the point being here is what you just said, Rich, is that we were led to believe one thing, and now something else entirely is happening. And it almost took a year for this story to actually come out. And Daniel Kaplan said it yesterday on Darren's show that he sort of just stumbled upon this information. It wasn't like he was really digging for it. So if somebody is digging out there, see what else we can uncover.
Well, I mean, you think there's more to dig up here with this story? It doesn't feel like it.
I mean, think there's a lot more to dig up when in terms of finances and professional sports teams that I think fans probably should know a little bit more about.
Well, I mean, they're all businesses. They're all trying to make money. And we talked about this yesterday. Peter Seidler, as an owner, kind of threw the just opened up the checkbook and threw caution to the wind a little bit here and went, you know what, let's build a super team and get a championship here. I want to see one while I'm alive. Yep. And started putting together a team that on paper should have just dominated. I mean, should have been at least a top contender, and they weren't. And when he passed away, everyone else there in the front office went, okay, good. Let's get back to making money. And that's where they're at.
The Padres last year underperformed obviously the statistical projections to a point where it was embarrassing, right? I mean, because they so far underperformed their talent that it didn't even seem possible what we were watching. Had they had success, had they, I don't know, gone on another championship series run, the conversation this offseason would have been very different. I don't think they would have slashed spending. I don't think they would have complained as much. Or again, the inference. I'm not even saying the Padres necessarily were the ones who were telling us all this information, but the inference was, oh my gosh, this Bally Sports thing really crushed us. I know what I'm doing.
Are you bleeding?
I cut my
nosebleed.
No, I cut my face shaving the other day.
I thought you were in the middle of picking your nose and then you started talking, so you just kept your finger up there.
No. I
thought you were like, $1 million.
No, I cut right under my nose. I was shaving the other day.
I'm actually a little blood.
Yeah. I'm pretty bad at shaving. And then, so what happens is just
UFC fighter.
Yeah, dude, I literally, I look just like this guy. I need a cut man. Yeah. Actually, the show needs a cut man.
That would be awesome.
Can you imagine if somebody came in and was just dabbing me with petroleum jelly right now? It was like, listen, I mean, that was a great point you made about Bally Sports, but you got to get back out there and throw the left. I mean, you were just hanging it at your side. You're gonna get your ribs crushed.
Don't lay it all out there in the first segment. Gotta save some. You gotta keep some in the tank.
Actually, that reminds me. Look, this Sanders piece, it's in the UT. I think this is a little further explanation. There's not much more to know about this story at this point. Look, there's some part of the $60 million left that Diamond Sports Group, per this agreement that was struck between the Padres and Diamond, that they are still owed. There was a $10 million plus upfront payment to the Padres, and then the rest of the money, I guess, is coming soon. But the Padres were promised $80 million in this agreement. They got 80% of what they were owed from Diamond from Major League Baseball. I guess my point in all this is
in 2023, not over the length of the contract, which is supposed to go through 2032.
Yeah, but by the way, nobody gets contract money up front. It's not like when Kevin Acey brought this up yesterday, and look, Kevin's our friend. I didn't want to blow him up because he was talking about a 10-year contract. We're talking about 2 years into a 10-year contract. They were going to get $100 million up front from Diamond Sports Group. That's not how this works. You pay on an annual basis. You pay, maybe it's quarterly payments. We don't know what the structure of the contract looks like, but it's not like the Padres were going to be handed whatever their broadcast rights are worth.
It was like 360 over the length of the 10-year deal.
Yeah. We're talking about $36 million a year if that's the case. We're not talking, and by the way, $36 million a year is like what you pay Machado. So we're not talking about heaven and earth moving money when you're talking about Major League Baseball. And also, for the love of God, anybody out there who is defending any Major League Baseball team, breaks my heart that people are attacking them on the money front. It's like they've got it. Trust me.
Right.
Look what John Fisher is trying to do to the city of Oakland, and you don't have to think any further down the line. It's a business. There's greed involved. There's profits that need to be made. There's margins that need to be made. You can't feel bad for a business that's literally printing money right now.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, to me, in my gut, when I look at a business like that's this large, if they want to show that they are not making money, if they're losing money, they can put the numbers in the right spots to show that, we are so far behind on payroll. We have to make these cuts.
Yeah.
Another thing no one's talking about, they could get another TV deal here.
Oh, of course.
Also true.
Yeah,
Like,
of
next year they could
course.
ink some new contract with some different company, or by the way, Bally again, because they still have a lot of baseball, and they can figure out another way to recuperate a
Or by the
bunch of
way,
money.
do what the Yankees did. Literally the Yankees created the Yes Network.
Right. Yes.
They invested in themselves and they created their own network. So everything's in-house. They create their own content. They own their own cameras. They own their own production team. They literally now have their own network built around the New York Yankees.
I don't know why you wouldn't do that, to
Yeah.
be quite, unless you just didn't want to take on that task. But because you'd have to now hire a team that would run that division. But man, all of a sudden you're raking in all the cash.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but I threw it on the rundown late today. Once per hour, all day here on San Diego Sports 760. Big Rich, T, and Fletch, Darren Smith Show, as well as John and Jim. We got some last chance tickets. So the Wonderfront Music and Arts Festival is coming up May 10th through the 12th. We have pairs of Sunday tickets all day long today, once an hour. So the first pair we're going to give away is coming up in the 6:30 segment. And just keep listening all day long, because if you want your last chance to get these tickets, it's today and tomorrow. And then we got to shut down the contesting to get these tickets out. So make sure you are listening today and tomorrow if you want to go to the Wonderfront Music and Arts Festival, downtown San Diego, May 10th through the 12th.
Dude, Sunday's ticket is Beck.
Nice.
Yeah. Beck, the Roots will be there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Also coming up on the show, pair of tickets to see Strike Force at San Diego's Indoor Football League team. Also a pair of tickets to go to the Lakeside Rodeo. That's going on the weekend of April 25th through the 28th. So a lot coming up in San Diego. We have a lot of tickets to all these events.
Yeah, no kidding. There's also a group called Band of Gringos.
Okay.
Didn't Brian Long want to call the show that?
Yeah.
It was the Tres Gorditos.
Tres Gorditos.
Which I believe roughly translates to the three fat asses.
Right.
Yeah, the three little fat asses. Yeah, he had a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
Former program director Brian Long, now in AZ. And if you're listening this morning, hey, Bri.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, look, the Padres, there's some real positives going on. And I want to focus on those. Look, the money stuff, every single Major League Baseball team is trying to make money, and every single sports team, outside of the rare exceptions like when Peter Seidler was still here, still alive, most of them cry poverty when it's convenient for them. So nothing about this story or any stories like this across all of sports ever surprised me. This season, and I'm talking about the players, I'm talking about Mike Schilt, I'm talking about the people who you actually care about, who are showing up in pinstripe jerseys supporting, they're the ones who are actually putting forth the effort that is going to make this or break this season. And so far, they're making this season fun to watch. And I can't be more thankful after the dumpster fire that was last year, because it was so depressing having such high hopes and seeing all those hopes dashed on a nightly basis.
Yeah, it's almost a blessing here for the Padres that they're able to put this together so far. Because if it falls apart and they're not winning, man, I guarantee you, here's some more negative stories coming out, because as long as you're winning, even when the bad ones come out, they get tamped down pretty quick. Yeah. Because winning cures it.
Winning cures all things. It always has. I mean, look, I've told the story before. I'm pretty sure that in certain places I played in the NFL, it influenced what we were served for dinner. Like I felt like the meals were made to be better when we were winning versus losing. So trust me when I tell you, winning cures everything.
Our buddy Patrick Allen.
Yeah.
Shout out to the, is this AI drawn here?
Pretty sure.
Yeah. I hope maybe he just drew it by himself. That's a picture of Jackson Farrell Merrill. That's a cat in a Padre uniform.
Yeah. It's a house cat. It's a house cat wearing one of the Padres brown uniforms, just taking a hack at home plate.
We retweeted it this morning. Check it out at Big Rich TD Fletch. Before we tell you about Prize Picks, Rich, do you have a quick story about a time where a plane ride home could have been incredible? Like you felt like the team played really good and you felt like you got the win. Like last night or yesterday with the Padres, Michael King almost throws a no-hitter. It's still a loss. And then they immediately jump on the plane ride home. Like how much better that plane ride could have been had it been a no-hitter, or had the Padres just won the game and swept the who the hell did they just play?
The Brewers.
My brain isn't working, but if they had just swept the Brewers, how awesome that plane ride home could have been. Do you have one of those where the plane ride home was about to be a party and then all of a sudden in the last second you lose?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember a specific game, but plane rides where something happened at the end of the game, like somebody gets injured, that usually sucks, especially when it's somebody important on your team, or when you lose a game you should win, or lose a close game. Those are the ones where, look, are you still cracking some bottles on a long flight? Yeah. Are you still tipping back a couple of brewskis? Yeah. But there's a lot more of that conversation of like, hey, yeah, do you remember that play and this and that? And you start like opening up your iPad and actually playing back some of the film instead of just enjoying each other's company and celebrating a win. Because like you were just saying, TD, and like we all know, winning cures everything. All of a sudden you win that game 1-0 instead of losing that game 1-0. Nobody's talking about the game.
Well, it's a 6-hour travel between buses and get on the plane, get back to San Diego, buses, get home. Like, that's a long time that could have been a party.
Oh yeah. And it's also, I don't know, losing is exhausting from a lot of reasons, especially a close game, because you're always like, gosh, like if we just would have X, Y, or Z, and that it's stress. Yeah, you're right. Hit the damn baseball. That would have been good. Yeah, I don't know. Did you have any entries going on Prize Picks last night on the game?
I did not yesterday, but I do have one coming up because Nikola Jokic for the Monday game against the Lakers is discounted to 0.5 points on Prize Picks.
So you're already looking around to first round of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, you got okay, because I don't know if you saw this yet, Richie, but on Prize Picks, there's something for the postseason called stars. And if you select the stars in your lineup, LeBron James was a star in the play-in round. Steph Curry was a star in the play-in round. If you select stars in your lineup and you hit, you get a 10% bonus on the overall payout of your entry. So get on over to the Prize Picks app today. They got tons of promotions going for this basketball postseason, and you got to get over there right now because Prize Picks is the number one daily fantasy sports app in the United States. Over 3 million active members, and you just got to use promo code DOGS.
Yeah, I'm going to be firing on some playoff action. Again, you could win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players, those stars that Fletch was talking about, take it to a new level during the postseason. So look, with the NBA action with Jokic or LeBron or the big cat Karl Anthony Towns or Luka Doncic, whoever's your favorite, as the NBA gets going into their postseason, which, by the way, stretches for about 2.5 months. So you're going to have plenty of time to play with your Prize Picks. This is going to be an awesome time to get in. And why not sign up with promo code DOGS? That's DOGS, where you could have your first deposit doubled up to $100.
Promo code DOGS, Prize Picks, first deposit match up to $100. You pick more, you pick less. It's that easy. Coming up next, pretty soon we're going to be talking to TD's bird guy.
We got some scary news, Padre fans. We'll talk about it coming up next.
This update is presented by Sid's Carpet Barn. We'll start off here with the Padres, who fall yesterday to the Brewers 1-0 after Michael King took a no-hitter into the seventh inning. Day off today before the Padres welcome the Blue Jays into town for a weekend series starting tomorrow. Sticking with the Pods, yesterday the team announced that Yu Darvish head into the 15-day IL with neck tightness. And by the way, tomorrow, if you're looking for a spot to party pregame, head on down to the Naughty Barrel. Darren Smith will be there at noon. John and Jim, 3 o'clock. NBA play-in tournament last night, the Eastern Conference. The 76ers advanced. They'll be taking on the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. Bulls and Heat will play tomorrow alongside the Kings and Pelicans in the West. They will decide who takes the last 2 spots in the playoffs. For 70 years, San Diegans have trusted Sid's Carpet Barn for all their floor covering needs. At Sid's, you'll always find great service, low everyday prices, and the largest selection of carpet, wood, laminate, and tile flooring with immediate installation too. Visit Sid's Carpet Barn or sidscarpet.com.
Bigger City and Flash, San Diego Sports 760 coming up here in just a few minutes. Wonderfront tickets, day 3, Sunday tickets to Wonderfront. You want to go see Beck. You want to go see Natasha Bettenfield. You want to see The Roots. You want to see the Trace Gorditas. Oh, that's us.
That's us. Oh, Weezer?
Yeah, Weezer's Saturday.
Oh,
this is a Sunday show.
Oh,
Sunday
this
show.
is just for the Sunday tickets.
Yeah, Sunday tickets. So
Okay.
keep it locked in here because we have Sunday Wonderfront tickets, a pair of those every single hour. And this hour, like I said, few minutes away. Do not go anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to giving those away. So
Because it may happen right now.
it could. Honestly, we could do it right now. If we,
So call. Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
don't you do it. We'll tell you in a second. All right, so Yu Darvish, 15-day IL, neck tightness. This is retroactive to Monday when he first started feeling symptoms. It was after the no decision to the Dodgers where he pitched 5 innings. It was a pretty good performance. I remember the game thinking like, yeah, Darvish, he did what he needed to do. The Padres offense obviously did more. So here's the problem. When you're approaching 40 years old as an athlete, you're going to have some days on the injured list. When you're approaching 40 years old in life, you're going to have some days on the injured list. I'm 38. So me and Darvish were close in age. And I'm telling you, after years of playing a professional sport, and I hung it up a long time ago, my body isn't right more than it is. So it's an interesting situation the Padres find themselves in, because they've had success over the past 2 seasons now in their rotation, bringing in arms that nobody really thought were going to be, like, for example, Matt Waldron is a good example. A Michael King is a good example of guys with very limited starting experience so far in the major leagues.
Waka, Seth Lugo,
Waka last year. This is back-to-back years now where you're like, geez, don't know if it's going to work out with King and Waldron. Geez, don't know if it's going to work out with Waka and Lugo. And those guys have really panned out so far. Now, it's very early in the season to talk about Matt Waldron, and it's very early in the season to talk about Michael King, even though he's coming off of pitching a gem in a loss. But Darvish is supposed to be one of those guys you count on, and it really feels like you can't anymore.
Do you remember before the season started, I think I asked Derek Togerson at the time, I was like, are we supposed to just not be worried at all about Joe Musgrove and Darvish's health heading into this season? Because both those guys are getting a little older, and both those guys finished last year on the IL. And it's just something that I thought about most of the offseason. Like, okay, if Blake Snell's walking and you're going to be really relying on these two guys to carry the rotation, how much can you actually rely on them to not miss any time this year? Because that's what it's going to take. And sure enough, a couple weeks into the season, here goes Darvish on the IL. Now, Schilt did talk about it after the game yesterday. He said he doesn't expect it to be anything that's sort of long-lasting or anything, but it's still something to think about, because now if this is the first time Darvish is going on the IL, not that I predict any huge injuries in the future, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be the last to me.
Well, and what's concerning is we speak to Kevin Acee yesterday, and he brings up Darvish about, hey, this is the guy we're going to be leaning on here. This is going to be your ace. And you go, wait, hold on. Now he's on the IL. Wait, what happens over the next 15 days? Because the Padres want to keep the pace here. They want to keep the pace.
Yep.
So you want to keep a winning record as you move along. Don't get down and try to fight for that 500 spot again, because that was not fun. Not fun for the team, not fun for the fans.
No. And then you start to think, well, how do they fix this in their rotation? Do they have to go to a bullpen day now to make up that spot, for a couple of, spins on the rotation wheel? It's going to be interesting to see 2 things. One, how they handle Darvish missing, and then 2, if he actually does come off the IL when he's designated to come off the IL, because like we know, sometimes an injury can persist. It can nag. It can not be quite right when that stint ends, and it can be extended. So is this related to last year's injury at all? Your body is connected. Obviously, for example, Fletch, you step on an acorn, you break your ankle. Right?
Happens every
There's a new
6-8
injury
months
on the show, though. We don't need to focus on my injury, because the new injury is TD's calf.
Listen, I'm like a machine over here.
You
I'm
take
already
like
almost
7
healed.
laps, and all of a sudden you can't walk.
I'm like at 70% already.
But my point was,
which is
like,
60% more than normal.
So now you got your scooter leg, right? Your left leg, you're scooting.
Yeah.
What happens if all of a sudden, because you're reaching and you're scooting, and you're scooting with the left leg, all of a sudden you pull your left groin? Ooh. It's like compensatory movements to make up for an injured side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, could we be in for a rough year with Darvish, because one thing's leading to the next.
Right. And also, like, as if Darvish is the left leg of the Padres, right? And the left leg is currently broken. So then when the left leg is finally healed and comes back, it's going to take some time before that left leg gets back up to running speed.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then plus your right leg is so huge now from all the work it's had to do. Your left leg is tiny.
My left leg is actually massive. I was sitting in the shower last night, because I have to sit in the shower now, which is embarrassing.
Just crying.
Yeah,
literally.
Nothing's right, I'm torn. You're a little late. This is how I feel. Lying naked
naked on the
But
floor.
the point of that, I'm looking and I have this
Likes
right
her a
leg,
lot.
this like
Natalie
shriveled,
Imbruglia.
Yeah.
pruny, small little grandma leg, and then my left leg is hulking and massive and strong. And I'm like, this is not. I hate this.
Lisa Loeb or Natalie Imbruglia?
I think Natalie Imbruglia. The
I'd
reason
go
why.
Lisa Loeb.
Never heard of either of these.
Okay,
people.
so they were in that. Oh yeah.
Only hear what I want to.
There was, I should say, a time where you just absolutely jammed to a couple of the singer-songwriter ladies. Like who else was out there at that time? Crow. Cheryl Crow was huge at that time. Like there was a point where you would close the windows because you didn't want anybody to know that you were listening to Natalie Imbruglia, and you would just let it rip, man.
Mm-hmm. In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey, butane in my veins, and I'm out on the junkie with the plastic eyeballs, spray paint, the vegetables, dog food stalls, and the beefcake pantyhose. Kill the headlights and put it in neutral. Stock car flaming and the loser in the cruise control. Baby's in Reno with the vitamin D. I got a couple of couches, sleep on the love seat. You guys like Beck?
I love
I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me?
So
Whoa. Yeah, it's lighting up. Caller number 5 right now, 877-SORG 760, 877-767-4760. You are getting those day 3 Sunday Wonderfront tickets.
Wow. All right, coming up. Damn it, the Blue Jays did something cool. That's next.
Almost.
Oh. Big Rich here for Ocean View Dental. Okay, so check this out. When you meet somebody and you're like, wow, I want the rest of my family to meet this person, whatever it is, you go to a hair cutter and you're like, this is a great experience. I'm going to bring my kids in here, get the boys' hairs cut here too, or I don't know, you go to an ice cream store. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is now our ice cream store. This is what happened with me and Ocean View Dental. I went over to Ocean View Dental and I had major dental surgery. I had, you've heard me talk about it before. I had a tooth extraction, 3 implants put in. And this wasn't a one and done thing because I walked into the office and I realized, wow, this is a great family environment. This is a really comfortable place to be. Even the waiting room is nice. They have a fish tank. There's things to look at for the kids. And I was like, do you guys do like pediatric dentistry? Do you guys do kids? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. This is a family dentist office. So Ocean View Dental is now where I bring my kids. Ocean View Dental is now where my wife gets her teeth done. It's become that for us because of one great experience. And so many people have had that same experience I had, where wherever they're traveling from around San Diego, if they land at Ocean View Dental, they say, wow, well, now Dr. Jordan Colby is my dentist. And that wow factor has persisted since. All of our teeth cleaning are done up there at the Oceanside office. They have an office in Fallbrook too, delivers the same exact care. But no matter what your situation is, Dr. Jordan Colby can help you create a confident and healthy smile. That's his motto. And that's what it's been for us, my family, the Warnbergers. And I wish this for everybody because usually going to the dentist's office is a huge bummer. It's not for us because of Dr. Jordan Colby and the amazing staff he surrounded himself with. So again, if you need anything major done from a dentist standpoint, he's your guy. If you need just your teeth cleaned, he's your guy. Everything in between, Dr. Jordan Colby and his staff are your people. Visit them at oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net. Coming up, if you think Bar Car Friday is cool, you got to see what the Blue Jays are doing. Big Rich TV and Fletch. It's a Thursday, which means it's Bar Car Friday Eve. Looking forward to that tomorrow.
Right.
Speaking of drinking, Blue Jays, they've got a pitcher. And oftentimes when another team's coming in to face the Padres, outside of really the Dodgers, our focus remains on the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not talking so much Milwaukee. We're talking Padres and how they're competing against the Brewers. We're not talking so much Diamondbacks or even Giants for that matter, even though there's a little bit of contention with Bomel there now. Like we're talking mainly Padres. Now the Dodgers are a different story. They've become very much so a geographic and obviously divisional rival. That's persisted through the years. But then every once in a while, a team goes and does something cool. And that's exactly what. And I'm going to butcher his name before the reporter says it, but
I'm going to let you do it.
Yusei Kikuchi.
That's pretty good, I think.
I think you nailed
Well,
that.
we'll see if I landed that plane.
Yeah.
Let's give a listen to this report, an in-game report about how Kikuchi celebrates with teammates.
Yeah. Listen, I'm looking at Suntory Yamazaki 12-year-old Japanese whiskey, and maybe this isn't the exact same bottle, but 12 years old. I mean, that's 2012, right?
I said he goes the 2022 bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, 2022.
The year
bottle.
he signed with the Blue Jays.
So what's crazy is the longer you keep certain whiskeys, the more expensive they get if they're rare or they're in short supply in any given year. It's kind of like wine, you know, you buy a bottle of a special edition of Camus or Silver Oak, a good year. on the vine, all of a sudden you've got something that increases in value as it ages. Same thing with whiskey. And this guy, Kikuchi, for the Blue Jays, is spilling $3,000 bottles every time he hits the mound. Now he's good for it. Major league pitchers, they get paid well. But geez, man, like that's the coolest thing I've heard of.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be there for a win.
I mean, and now don't get me wrong, Manny Machado, he spent some. You remember the the
swag chain.
The swag chain. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it had the
Stupidest
spinner on
thing
it.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But he spent like $30,000 on it. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think we ever got an actual number. We had like a appraiser of jewelry on. You remember that? And they were telling us they thought it might be $30,000. But yeah, the spilling.
Meanwhile,
3,000
Machado's like, I got that from Oriental Trading Company. There was 22 of them.
When Raj Bhakta was here, he was talking about the whistle pig that he created, and he said the Boss Hog, when he first opened the bottle, it was $200.
Yeah,
and now it's up to like $4,000 pretty much everywhere. Some places it's more than that. But this guy is pouring out $3,000 2-year-old whiskey. So in 10 years, what would that $3,000 bottle be?
Man, I'm at cakeandbottle.com, and the 18-year Mizuraya whiskey, Yamazaki whiskey, same whiskey, different age, $10,000.
So see, that's
$10,000.
So I mean, we're talking about they're sipping on, what is that? It would be 16-year-old. So
no, it's 2022.
2022. It's
2 years old.
No, but it's 2022, but it's 12-year, right? So it's 14-year-old.
That's where I got confused too. Well, because you can buy a bottle of the 12-year-old whiskey, obviously not the same. Either that or Tony Conjo over at Keg and Bottle is highly discounting this. $300 a bottle.
Yeah. So it must be something like that, like limited supply. Maybe he fell in love with the whiskey that year, and well, either way, dude. We need a tradition. And last year, wasn't it the camera? It was the Polaroids.
Yeah.
Joe Musgrove brought that's cool.
Might have been 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
We were established here in 2022. Should we be drinking 22 whiskey?
Or buy that swag chain off of Machado?
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Maybe we could get that. Yeah. So the San Diego Padres swag chain, it was 10-inch tall, 2-inch thick pendant. It was emblazoned with 8,000 yellow and brown semi-precious stones. Apparently, the chain was created by a jeweler of a friend of Manny Machado's to honor home runs. Okay, so anyways, let's get our hands on the swag chain.
Yep.
That's our first order of business.
That tradition needed to die.
Second,
I'm glad it's gone.
We're bringing it back.
Let's get Jackson Farrell Merrill drunk on our show.
His 21st birthday is tomorrow.
Woo!
Well, guess what? Jackson, he's coming back home.
He can finally taste alcohol.
Yeah. He's never done it before. We're sure of that.
And you know what's cool is he could
his
also
21st birthday is tomorrow.
Wow, how about that? Well, I mean, so what's great about that is he could enjoy a little taste of alcohol while still losing weight with SDFatLoss.com. Okay,
damn right.
Yeah, because look, Wayne, Chloe, the coaches, the staff over at SD Fat Loss, when they came to us and they were like, "You guys are disgustingly overweight. We want to help you out with that," and we were, we need the help, but can we still drink on Friday mornings? And they said, yeah, we're gonna make a plan that's tailor-made to you idiots, so you can still have a little taste of the alcohol, have a little fun, still enjoy it, and still lose weight. Not only lose weight, but lose weight fast, and lose a lot of it fast, 20 to 30 pounds in 8 weeks' time. So if that's what you're looking to do, if you're like, man, I got a couple months here before the sun's out, guns out happens out at the beach, and I want to make sure I'm trim and I'm fit and I look like Fletch over there.
Dude.
Hell yeah, dog. That's what I want. Then you need to go to SDFatLoss.com. And here's the beauty. If you go there right now and you mention Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, you're going to save yourself $200. So go there, lose weight quickly, the healthy way, the fast way, and then you're going to keep that weight off. That's the key, because look, if we're able to do it, if we're able to lose weight and keep it off, you can too. I promise you, because we are the dumbest people on planet Earth. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. It's SDFatLoss.com. SDFatLoss.com. That's where you go. Mention the show. Save $200. SDFatLoss.com.
It's hour two, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by the Gibraltar Real Estate Team. Starting off with the Padres, they fall yesterday to the Brewers 1-0, even though Michael King took a no-hitter into the seventh inning. Day off today before the Pods welcome the Blue Jays into town for a weekend series starting tomorrow. Sticking with the Padres, yesterday the team announcing that Yu Darvish heading to the 15-day IL with neck tightness. NBA play-in tournament last night was the Eastern Conference. 76ers will advance. They got the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. Bulls and Heat both play tomorrow alongside the Kings and Pelicans in the West to decide who takes those last two spots in the playoffs. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, happy Thursday to those who celebrate. We've got a fun weekend of basketball watching and obviously Padres coming up. They got a series against the Blue Jays that gets started here in San Diego at Petco Park. And so we're going to be talking Blue Jays twice this hour. Once with a friend of the show, Danny Vietti, CBS Sports. He's going to be jumping on in a little bit. But before we talk about the Toronto Blue Jays, we want to talk about Blue Jays. And we're going to do that with Robert Nickel, who's an avid birder, an advocate, and board member with the San Diego Audubon Society.
Yes.
Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank
Good
you.
morning. This is Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. How you doing, Rob?
I'm fantastic. Good to talk to you guys.
Very good to talk to you, too. So, look, we know very little about the Toronto Blue Jays. I think we know even less about the bird.
Right. Well, look, Robert, this is what happened. The show said, hey, can you get a Blue Jay guy on? And I went, I'll do my best. And we got Robert Nickel here with us. So Robert, first off, are there Blue Jays actually in Toronto, or did they just make that up?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
There are Blue Jays in Toronto. We do not have them in San Diego, however. We have a lot of Jays that are blue, but none of them are Blue Jays.
So they're normally called a scrub jay. Is that correct out here in California?
That's exactly right, and well done. Actually, we have two types of Jays here in California. We have got the scrub Jays, which are here in most of San Diego, and then if you get up into the mountains, like Julian, we've got some really cute little guys called Stellar's Jays, which is actually my favorite kind of jay. Blue Jays are also gorgeous, though. We just can't see them locally.
When I was growing up, I grew up out in New York before bouncing around, playing football, landed in San Diego about a decade ago, and this is where I call home. But where I was, there were a lot of pigeons. And I found out, and I don't know where I got this information from, but over the course of my life, that pigeons were actually brought here from elsewhere. I think they were brought here from Europe, and they were brought here because people ate them. Do people eat jays of any kind, Blue Jays, scrub jays, or was that never considered like a hardy enough bird to really feast on?
People used to eat all kinds of crazy things. In the past, actually, there's a thing in France that they call a headless lark, which is no longer made with larks anymore. Now it's the type of sausage. But back in the day, man, they used to just fry those songbirds up and pop them in their mouth. So.
Oh, God.
That is disgusting and also intriguing at the same time. You got any good jay recipes?
A jay is a kind of a feisty little bird. Actually, they are miniature crows, if you could believe that. They're members of what we birders call the corvid family. And so they have a very kind of a harsh caw sound. It's a little bit more high-pitched. Think of it like a Alvin and the Chipmunks version of how a crow sounds, and you'll have the sound for a jay.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, so crows are pretty smart. Are jays super smart?
They are not as smart as crows are. Crows definitely are the gold standard for intelligence in the birding kingdom. But at the other end of the spectrum, by the way, you've got emus. If you ever go to the San Diego Zoo and you see the emu show there, they have an emu, and the only trick it does is walk back and forth because that's all that they can teach it.
Stupid emus. So we got entrapped into watching the eagle cam up at Big Bear Lake how loving they were with the eggs that unfortunately never hatched.
Yeah.
What do Blue Jays do with their young? Are they really loving, or are they more of the eating kind?
Most birds are very tender and protective of their own, eggs and fledglings. There are some species of birds that are what are called nest parasites. And the way that works is that they go and they lay their eggs in somebody else's nest, And actually, studies have found that they go back kind of like the mafia and check on it from time to time. If their egg or their baby is not still there, they will destroy the nest and, whatever other birds happen to be in it. So fortunately, blue jays do not fall into that category. Neither do any of our other local jays that we've got here in California. They are all excellent birding parents.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. had 2 ribbies, and the Blue Jays were able to beat the Yankees 5-4 in the Yanks' first series loss. Could you just explain Vladdy's impact? Well, hang on.
Wait, it'd be great. It'd be great if Robert just absolutely blistered this answer. And he was like, well, look, the spin rate.
No,
at least I do know what you mean when you say ribby. So, I've at least got that much background.
Out of curiosity, Robert, and by the way, we're talking Blue Jays with Robert Nickel. He's a birder, an advocate, and board member of the San Diego Audubon. When we walk around San Diego and you look skyward, obviously we have a very green city, a lot of neighborhoods dotted with trees. And if you pay close enough attention, you see nests. Not all birds make nests in trees. Some of them find chimneys, some of them, roofs or play structures. Like, where would a jay set up their nest in San Diego?
Yeah, jays, and you make an excellent point. San Diego is actually one of the best places in the world to see birds out in the wild. We're right on what's called the Pacific Flyway, and every year the Audubon Society sponsors what's called the Christmas bird count, and San Diego is always one of the top 2. South Padre Island, Texas is the other spot where you see a large number of species. So there's over 800 species of birds that nest here in North America, as you said, in various ways, and we've got close to 600 of them right here in San Diego County. So you don't have to go very far from home to see some great birds around here. But yes, you were absolutely right. Actually, one of the projects the Audubon is involved with here in San Diego is the preservation of what's called the least tern. This is a sort of a gull-like species, and they make their nests right on the ground, out on the beach. And they rely entirely on protective coloration. The eggs are very sand colored, but obviously that doesn't work so well if you've got a beach where there's, people and dogs and stuff running around, stomping all over the sand because they can stomp right on the egg. So we've got a couple of protected areas that we keep for those guys, but jays do not fall into that category. They are up in the trees just like most of your birds.
You mentioned
picture.
You mentioned South Padre Island, Texas, which is a flyover state for a lot of these migratory birds. We actually looked up South Padre Island, and famous for their spring break as well. And I got to be honest with you, when you take off Safe Search on Google and you go to images,
don't do it at work. Don't do it at work.
I'm going to tell you, Robert, you see a lot of birds.
Yeah.
Well, is bird a British slang term for like a hot looking woman?
Oh, so, yeah, that's what he meant. That's what he meant.
And I'll tell you, right, they're all naked as a jaybird. God damn, man.
Well, Robert, what is like the coolest bird to see here in San Diego? I mean, is there one where when you're in the bird watching community, you'd be like, yeah, I saw whatever jay, and here's a photo?
There are a lot of cool birds to see here in town. The coolest bird to see in California, of course, is the California condor.
Yeah.
We don't have them here in San Diego County, but they've got them up in the Big Sur area. And I have not seen one yet. I've made a couple of trips up to Big Sur. I am that guy. I will go on a vacation specifically looking for a kind of cool bird that I want to see. Have not managed to see one up in Big Sur yet, but it is still a beautiful spot to vacation in. So
I did a book report on the California condor when I was growing up in elementary school. I could tell you so many useless facts. I'm telling you I was 8 years old when I wrote this report. I think they have a wingspan of up to 11 feet. They eat off the carcasses of dead animals. Mm-hmm. They basically look like a pterodactyl. It looks like a bird from prehistoric times.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hey, Robert, what's your annual bird talk show?
Okay, so I have a summer camp, family camp that I go to. My daughter's turning 18. By the way, I was talking about the Steller's jay. One of the good places to see jays here and all kinds of other birds. Audubon Society operates a couple of nature preserves here in San Diego County. One of them is called Silverwood, and that one's open to the public, so you can go see that one. But that is one of the few places that you're going to see Steller's jay here in San Diego County. But we were just out visiting my daughter at college, Go Banana Slugs, and they've got a lot of Steller's jays up there. So I just saw one of those guys last weekend. But I can't remember your original question.
Well, the bird talk show.
Oh, the bird talk, right. So we go to family camp. I'm not sure if we'll do that anymore now that my daughter is a grown woman, but But yeah, so people have a thing where they open it up and they're like guest to guest. People can get up and give a presentation on whatever they want. And I said the first year, oh, well, I'll do one on birds. And people were like, oh my God, what more boring topic could they be? Birding is one of those things that kind of sneaks up on you. My mom used to be a birder, and I was like, what a ridiculous dorky habit. And now here I am, representing the Audubon Society pocket on the radio. So it'll creep up on you. But anyway, there's a summer camp, and I said I'm doing a bird talk, and people actually started walking out because they're like, oh well, we heard all the interesting parts, and they went out to go get coffee and stuff, and then they heard people kind of laughing and enjoying themselves. They're like, oh my God, can that really be the bird guy? And so then the next year they're like, well, you're going to do your bird talk again, right? And now every year that we go back, they always insist that I do the bird talk.
Yeah. Well, listen, Robert, we can't thank you enough for jumping on the show and humoring this request. Well, we actually learned a lot about Blue Jays. Didn't expect that to be the outcome here, but you're great at it. And just do me a favor, now that she's 18, keep your daughter away from South Padre Island, for the love of God.
We will definitely do that. One thing I want to say before we go is everybody, I mentioned that we're really good for birds here. It is spring migration right now. Audubon has what's called Lights Out San Diego. Try to turn off those unnecessary lights between 11 and 6, 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. It'll help the birds stay safe. Window strikes are actually one of the number one ways that birds get injured or killed. And so if you turn the lights off, that's a great idea. And then the other thing you can do if you want to learn more, we're going to be at the Earth Day celebration on the 21st. It's actually one day before the real Earth Day, but it's going to be at the World Beat Center, and you should all come check us out.
Well, listen, a lot of great places to see birds around San Diego. You just heard from Robert Nickel there. I see most of my birds on the freeways because I merge without using my blinker.
Right.
So, buddy, we appreciate you, and we'll do it again sometime soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
There he goes, Robert Nickel.
That? There you go. Blue Jays.
Blue
Jays.
Blue Jays don't belong in San Diego. Get the hell out, Vladdy Guerrero.
That's right.
Junior.
We have scrub jays here.
Yeah.
And I don't want no scrubs.
Yeah. Well, no. Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Damn right.
Okay.
Let's start.
How do we know where we're going?
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
Get the hell out, Blue Jays. Starting off with the Padres. They fall yesterday to the Brewers 1-0. Michael King actually took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. How would that have been? The second no-hitter in franchise history is some guy named Michael King after Joe Musgrove.
Yeah.
Some guy.
Yeah,
It's Michael freaking King.
How many tweets would we have seen if Michael King threw the no-hitter, Padres won the Soto trade?
Oh, yeah.
More than really is necessary. But honestly, if he etches himself in the history books, then yeah, that feels like a win.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some bad Padres news. Yu Darvish headed to the 15-day IL. He got some neck tightness. TD's is used to that. NBA play-in tournament last night was the Eastern Conference. The 76ers advanced. They'll take on the Knicks in the first round. Bulls and Heat play tomorrow alongside Kings and Pelicans in the West. That will decide who takes those last two spots, one in the East, one in the West, in the NBA playoffs. And guys, another thing about the no-hitter yesterday that did not happen, Don Orsillo wouldn't have been on the call for it because he was out doing some national games.
Yeah.
So I think he would have been more heartbroken than anyone had the no-hitter actually happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah, nobody else would have been. It would have been a cause for great celebration.
Brewers fans would have been.
I got to tell you, the Soto thing that's happening in New York he is crushing the baseball.
He's on fire.
I mean, the problem with how all of that worked out is how much the Padres gave to get Soto.
He's only hitting 352.
Yeah, that's
it.
That's
He only
all.
has 4 homers and 17 ribbies.
Right.
That's cool.
I wish that was.
He only has a
Yeah.
478 on base percentage,
Oh.
which is only 50 points higher than his career.
Boom. So there's that.
All right.
You're
cool.
not making it better.
Yeah.
You're actually, the more stats you read, it's arguably much worse.
His OPS is also 100 points better than his career average currently.
We should.
Over 1,000 OPS right
Oh
now.
God. Dang it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
But I mean,
it is worse.
Michael
than I
King
thought.
did have a no-hitter
He
until
did.
the
He had a no-hitter.
until the
He
7th.
can't
And he was
no-hitter.
playing
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a 1-0 loss.
So
He's also responsible for the one run that scored.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, but Yeah, but I mean, if the Padres could have scored 2 runs.
Look, we don't want no scrubs. I think that brings us back to our original point. We don't want no scrubs.
Soto hit a home run yesterday too.
He did. I saw that.
Okay.
God, I want to throw up.
That Soto's so hot right now.
How many top prospects did we give to Washington to get Soto? Do you remember? Was it 5? Was it 6?
I mean,
It was a.
Well, I mean, left-handed pitcher could be pretty useful.
Lefty pitcher would be good, especially when you have a righty on the 15-day IL.
Oh, also that CJ Abrams guy.
Go
I
ahead.
actually don't know if he was in that trade. He may have been. I think he was. But CJ Abrams is absolutely killing it for the Nationals right now.
Right.
Like dominating,
Right.
like really, really good. And that hurts too.
I was always a J.J. Abrams fan.
Well,
I don't love what he did with Star Wars.
Yeah, well, he basically just recreated the original Star Wars. I mean, it's almost the same thing.
yeah, so CJ Abrams was involved in the Washington Nationals trade for Juan Soto. So
Yeah, he's been really good.
he's been great. Okay. You guys want to do your morning monologue?
Okay, revisionist history.
Okay,
though.
go ahead.
Would you rather the Padres never have gotten Juan Soto?
Yeah, there's kind of that feeling.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's
there's a little bit of that.
Just take a second,
Yeah,
take
yeah,
a
yeah.
breath before you answer it.
Right.
Would you rather the Padres have never gotten Juan Soto? Because who knows if the run to the NLCS ever happens? He played a pretty integral part in that.
And look, without Juan Soto, we don't have Michael King.
I still think they get to the postseason though without him.
Do they get to the NLCS?
Maybe not.
He had some big hits during that playoff run.
Yeah.
But not to say somebody else couldn't have stepped up. Like the Padres were firing on all cylinders.
I sort of wish they didn't trade for Juan Soto,
Well,
like the whole way around. Like, and I feel like every time someone goes, "Well, Michael King's pretty good," I'm always like, "Yeah, but Juan Soto's better."
So on
with
text
the
line,
Yankees.
like this is super baity, and I get that. And I was trying to bait these guys into something, and they didn't really bite. But would you rather the Padres never traded for Juan Soto? 70470. Start your message with team.
Mackenzie Gore, you remember him? He was
that's
a part
the
of that
lefty
deal.
I was talking about who could have been on the mound while you.
Robert Hassel III, James Wood, Harlan Susana, CJ Abrams.
You know the song by Tim McGraw, For a Little While?
Yeah.
It's a little Juan Soto-ish.
Yeah.
I laugh every time I think about him. We said that summer out in style. He's gone, but he left me with a smile because he was mine.
You were dying.
I don't think that's the same song.
Bull named Fu Manchu.
Pretty close.
I don't think that's the same
That's
song.
not
I
the same
do
song.
still think those are different songs. Here's my morning monologue today. The thing that I've been waiting the longest to get off my chest, the thing that I really want to put out there into the universe to see if possibly this request could be answered. And I don't know if it can. But can we cruise at this pace for a little while, Padres? I'm not saying you got to win every series. They've won 3 in a row. But here's the one request. Can this be a less tumultuous, less stomach turning, less fingernail gnawing march to a postseason bid than even it was in 2022? So we were just talking about the NLCS run. That was fun, but the fun really only started when they were in the postseason. That was like a photo finish to sneak in on the wild card. That was not fun. That regular season almost skidded to a halt, and it was almost as bad as the complete and utter meltdown that followed in 2023. So Padres, players, if you're listening to us this morning as you wake up from travel from Milwaukee, if you're in your cars getting ready to stretch out the arm or whatever it is that you do on a day off.
Right, birdwatch.
Maybe bird watching with Robert Nickel with the Audubon Society here in San Diego. Obviously, we're in a migratory path. Whatever it is that you're into on your off days, if you're listening, please make this a little bit of an easier watch this season because it has felt so good over the last 3 series, having expectations met. It feels good. It makes it easy to be a fan.
Well, you kind of got exhausted last season.
Yes.
Yeah, like you were tired the whole season because you're like, oh my God, my emotions, I'm up and down, I'm all over the place. We keep this at just an even keel.
Win 4, lose 2. Just keep doing that.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Damn.
You want me? You want you?
You go ahead.
Okay, well, mine, I've actually been thinking about this for a couple weeks, and I maybe it's longer than that, actually. Out in England, they've got kings and queens, and was it King Charles? Is that who it is right now?
I think
don't know
so.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Is that the one with cancer?
Yes, I think that's the way they started bouncing around in my head. And then there's been a lot of animosity between the royal family out there. I think they should just hit the reset button and have Victoria Beckham be queen.
Okay.
I mean, does she not seem like she should be queen? Posh Spice?
Yeah, just hit the reset button. I don't think this doesn't work like a Sega
But I think it should. I watched several episodes of Beckham. I didn't finish it because I got bored, honestly. But Victoria Beckham was probably the highlight in that. And I do think she looks like queen. Posh Spice.
But where the hell did this come from?
Like I said, I've just been thinking about it. It's just like sometimes, like when I go to bed, like I lay there, and when the mind starts to clear, you start to go, they could probably use Victoria Beckham as queen.
I will say this: the royal
Out in
family
England.
news lately has been kind of depressing.
Right.
Like Kate Middleton,
Right.
Didn't they find out she had cancer and that's why she disappeared for a while? She was getting treatment.
Exactly. And I was a jerk because I was like, something's going down.
Yeah, King Charles, the whole thing. Like, so this would actually be like fun news if they were like, all of a sudden, you know what? She's in.
We started
we like
over.
her style.
Yeah, and I guess if she became queen, that makes David Beckham king, right?
I think kind of by proxy, or he's the next to the throne, so he would have to suffocate her with a pillow in order to be king or something.
I don't know if he could, because it would be like their kids.
Oh, that's right. The heir would be the prince or the princess. I don't know if they have boys or girls. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, let's say next in line though is like Ginger Spice.
Well, now you're talking.
Okay.
How far down until Britney Spears is the Queen of England?
She's got a long ways.
Yeah.
I feel like. I mean, because obviously you'd go through all the Spice Girls first, even Sporty Spice, which I was not a fan of,
and then Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera, definitely. But like, if I was like to list like who would go first, it would be Posh, and then Ginger, and then Scary, then Baby.
Baby, is that low?
Yeah,
wow, I
and
thought
then,
she'd be up there.
Well, I just feel like Scary Spice would be a little bit like she'd be more in charge.
Yeah,
Baby Spice wouldn't make a lot of great decisions because she'd be all wishy-washy.
See what Scary Spice looks like right now.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Scary Spice, recent pics.
Melanie B, Scary Spice.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll like me some Melly B.
Right? So she's third in line to the throne.
Okay.
Out in England. Fletch, what you got?
No time. So we'll just skip. It was going to be something about I'm driving again and I'm using my left foot and it's really scary. So if you see a black Tacoma out on the road, stay away probably. Driving with your left foot is something new, man. It's a different experience. You know what else is a different experience?
What's that?
Winning money on Prize Picks. You got to get on over to that Prize Picks app today. Download the app. Use promo code DOGS. And when you put in the promo code DOGS, you need to start barking. And I want you to bark like you're rabid. And then I want you to make your first picks like you're a rabid dog, because Prize Picks is the #1 fantasy sports app in America. Over 3 million active members. What the hell was that?
Don't worry. He's very excited. And you know what? He's put it away.
No, make that sound again.
Well,
What
I don't think you want him to.
I don't know if I can if I'm laughing. I gotta let it get loose.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. Listen, I don't want to tell anybody where his hands were, but here's one thing I know you can do. If you want to get in on the action like TD just did and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks, this is the best opportunity.
I'm hammering the more.
I always hammer the more. Prize Picks is your #1 destination for NBA postseason. That's where I go. All right. And I like to follow the stars. Doncic, Jokic, James.
All the itch.
I'm glad you brought up
Scratch that itch.
Nikola Jokic, because coming up on Monday in the Lakers-Nuggets playoff game, Nikola Jokic has already been discounted to 0.5 points in that one. Vegas has his line somewhere like 26.5. So that's a free spot on the bingo board, and that's what Prize Picks does, man. The promotions, all the different Taco Tuesdays and Flex Fridays, all the weekly promotions and special offers. The stars are awesome because if you include a star in your lineup coming up through the basketball playoffs, you're getting a 10% bonus on your payout if you win.
Download the app today. Use promo code DOGS, that's DOGS, woof woof, for your first deposit matched up to $100. That's promo code DOGS, DOGS on Prize Picks for your deposit matched up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Oh, dogs, Prize Picks.
Hey, if you're looking to lose some weight here in the new year, all right, 2024 is in April already, and that might make you panic. You're like, I made the New Year's resolution to drop 20, 30 pounds, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
TD, what are you going to do?
You don't panic. You don't panic.
Because in 2 months, you could drop 35, 40 plus pounds. Like, that's what happened with all three of us. It's kind of ridiculous to say out loud, but it took us 2 months to all match our weight loss goals, and we all did it quickly, and we did it effectively, and we did it the natural way.
Yeah, and if you're talking 20 to 30 pounds, I think I was at 28 pounds lost in the first 4 weeks.
SDFatLoss.com is where you got to go. Right now, they have a special promotion going for our listeners. You mentioned Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. When you talk with Wayne and Chloe over at SDFatLoss.com, they're going to knock $200 off your bill. So if you've been waiting and you've been hearing us talk about it for the last few months, and you're thinking, this is for me, I just don't want to spend the money right now, $200 off right now if you mention Big Rich, TD, and Fletch when you chat with Wayne and Chloe. Get on over to SDFatLoss.com today and learn a little bit about how they will set up a roadmap for the next 2 months of your life for you to drop a tremendous amount of weight, and you'll drop that very, very quickly. Get on over to SDFatLoss.com. If you're looking to feel a little better about yourself, if you're looking to be a little healthier so you could stick around longer for your family, get on over to SDFatLoss.com today. Nothing to lose but the unwanted pounds. This update is presented by Summit Racing Equipment. Starting off with the Pods, they fall yesterday to the Brew Crew 1-0. Michael King took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Day off today before the Padres welcome the Blue Jays into town tomorrow for a weekend series. Sticking with the Padres yesterday, the team announcing that Yu Darvish is headed to the 15-day IL. He has some neck tightness. NBA play-in tournament last night was the Eastern Conference. The 76ers, they're advancing. They'll get the Knicks in the first round. Bulls and Heat will play tomorrow. It's Car Care Month, and Summit Racing has what you need for bumper-to-bumper care. Revive the interior, exterior, underhood, and more. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions do apply. Offer ends 5/5/24.
Guys.
What?
We better start doing some giveaways here.
Oh, yeah.
Got a pair of tickets to the Indoor Football League San Diego Strike Force coming up on the Sunday game, April 28th against the Bay Area Panthers. SDStrikeforce.com if you're looking for tickets and information. If you want to win them, keep it locked in here. We also have a pair of tickets to the Lakeside Rodeo. That's happening Thursday, the 25th through the 28th out at the Lakeside Rodeo grounds. Looking for tickets there, lakesiderodeo.com. And we also have a pair of Wonderfront tickets for, is it next Sunday? Sunday.
May 12th.
That's what I said. May 12th. The Sunday show is Beck. It's the day of Beck.
Yes. The day of Beck.
If you want to win the day of Beck at Wonderfront, keep it locked in here very, very closely during this next interview.
And I'm gonna Sante. He's the day of Beck.
The day of Beck.
Look, we already talked Blue Jays on this show. Now it's time to talk Blue Jays. We have our very special guest, Danny Vietti, joining us this morning, CBS Sports. When I say we talked Blue Jays earlier, Danny, we actually had a member of the San Diego Audubon on to discuss the bird, the Blue Jay, with us. Turns out San Diego actually doesn't have any native Blue Jays. We have what are called scrub jays. And so it is going to take a plane full of baseball players to have actual Blue Jays here in San Diego. So Vladdy Jr., who's coming off a nice series against the Yankees, he's an actual Blue Jay, and we're excited to see what the Padres can do against him, especially this pitching staff are already down one Darvish. Danny, start of the season, there's a lot of talk about this rotation, right? Going to need to rely on Musgrove, going to need to rely on Darvish because there's a lot of question marks after that. Well, all of a sudden, Dylan Cease is the ace of the staff. Matt Waldron has been dependable. And we just saw one of the best pitching performances of the season, if not the best, from Michael King. So what do you make of this rotation for the Padres so far early this year?
It's a lot of bird talk, Rich. I'm not quite sure how to respond, to be honest with you. As I catch my breath, I'll attempt to answer your second part of that question, but just bear with me here. Look, the Padres were a good team last year. Nothing worked out for them. Blame that on analytics, blame that on Bob Melvin, blame it on AJ Preller, blame it on wherever you want to. I maintain the belief that that was a good ball club, that the ball just flat didn't fall their way at all. Now, coming into this season, you lose Juan Soto, you lose some rotation pieces like Blake Snell, a little bit older too, so there were some question marks of whether this rotation and Josh Hader as well, whether the bullpen would be able to maintain what it's been able to do. But on paper, it is still a good roster. I had a lot of question marks with the rotation before they got Dylan Cease. Now Dylan Cease came into the picture, and it was like, okay, you have 4 to 5 starters that you can go to bat for and actually have a full 162-game season, actually give yourself a chance to compete with teams like the Dodgers, Braves, Phillies. It's a good roster. It's not a great roster, but that's what you need in today's game. You don't need to win any regular season titles. Go ask the Dodgers up north. They don't care about winning regular season titles. You need to get into the dance. Right now, this roster for San Diego is good enough, and it has shown early on that they are good enough to be in the thick of it by the end of the season. That's all you can really ask for. And then after that, once you get into the dance, let it fall where it may.
Hey, you say that they're good enough. Do you feel like this is going to continue? Are they going to continue with the winning record here, or does it start to falter? I mean, what's your gut tell you, Danny?
No, they are. Coming into the season on paper, they're a good ball club. I'm not using that word great because when you look at the Dodgers and Braves on paper, they're head and shoulders above really the rest of the league. It's not an indictment on San Diego. It's not an indictment on any of the teams in the National League Central. Just on paper, the star power that the Braves, Phillies too, Braves, Phillies, Dodgers possessed in the National League, they're just better. But they still have star power in San Diego. You still have Machado. You still have, obviously, Tatis. And in rotation-wise, Cease, Darvish, and Musgrove. Now you need your complementary players to pitch in. And that's what's happening this year. That wasn't happening last year. Cronenworth struggled a lot of the season last year. Never really quite got things figured out at the dish. Well, now he's got an OPS hovering around 800. Bogart's still kind of figuring out a little bit. The power has been there. And most importantly, guys, who would have thought that hitting with runners in scoring position would lead to more runs being scored?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Mind blown.
Last year we were talking about this, like midway through the season, they were on pace to set the all-time MLB low record for the first team ever to hit under the Mendoza line, under 200 with runners in scoring position. Well, now, as I look at the stats in front of me, they're hitting 282 with runners in scoring position this year. That's 8th in baseball. That's like, we can talk players, we can talk roster construction. That's the difference. Blame it on whatever you want last year again. For whatever reason, they're hitting with runners in scoring position this season.
So it's a dangerous place to be, Danny, but I spend way too much time on like Padres Twitter, like the fan base going crazy. And Xander Bogaerts has been the #1 target on Padres Twitter recently. Is there a way he can turn it around? Because right now it seems like the Padres overpaid by about $150 million for Xander Bogaerts.
That's the unfortunate reality when you are hosting a team I'm just going to be blatant about it, in San Diego, because I truly believe this. I've been on record saying that San Diego, California, #1 best place, best city to live in, to be in. Also the most expensive, but I'll leave that for another conversation. But look, when you're battling with the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers in free agency, you're going to have to overpay. That's the reality of the situation in San Diego. Now, you're going to get hindsight bias. You're going to get 2 years, 3 years down the road and say, man, we really overpaid for XYZ. The Padres probably overpaid for Yu Darvish. The Padres probably overpaid for Machado. They locked up Tatis very, very early. Maybe if they were the Dodgers, Yankees, maybe they wait a little bit longer to extend Tatis as well. But the position that this team is in, you have to put the pressure on a little bit, and you have to beat these guys to the punch, because teams like the Dodgers, they have a leg up. They can go into free agency and say, look, man, come live in Los Angeles. We can give you whatever contract you want to. The Padres, they have to have a head start, and they have to offer more than what these other teams are able to offer. So, look, Bogaerts has been a pro's pro. At the end of the day, he's a veteran leader. I do a podcast with Will Middlebrooks. He played with him back in 2013 when they won the World Series. He speaks so highly of Xander, even when he was just a kid. And I understand that veteran leadership is not what you're paying $280 million for. But for a team like last year that really struggled with veteran leadership and culture, I do think that there's something to be said about what he brings to the table as a leader.
Danny Vieta joining us, CBS Sports. I'm going to be listening to that podcast too. That sounds really interesting. Thanks for giving that a shout here. What's the name of the podcast, by the way?
Wake and Rake, baby. Come on, Rich. We need to get you on.
Go. Yeah, man. I want to catch up on that.
Weird. Rich was the only one who got the invite.
Well, no, TD, you're invited.
Oh, yeah.
All of us are invited to Danny Vieta's podcast.
Yeah.
Just another show Rich Conchino is with.
Whoa. Only Blue Jay talk on the podcast, too. Only birds.
Yeah, okay. By the way, if you need a good birder and an advocate of birds in general, Robert Nickel, San Diego Audubon. We'll pass along the information after the show, Danny. You were talking about some of the players that the Padres acquired, some of them free agents, obviously Darvish, Machado, signing Fernando Tatis Jr. after he came up through their minor league system after trade. But I also think about some of their acquisitions via trade and how much they've unearthed for some of these players, and many of which are no longer with this roster. Blake Snell, Josh Hader, Juan Soto. I mean, those are some of the bigger names. They just unearthed more prospects for Dylan Cease, to fill in some of the obvious gaps on this roster. And now what you have to show for it is just one deep playoff run, which was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. That season was a lot of fun. 2022, beating the Dodgers in the NLDS. We still have memories singing Blink-182 in the rain here in Petco Park. But those song lyrics are fading.
and so is the farm system. What do you make of this window of winning that the Padres have open? How much longer is this open for?
I mean, the way the contracts are constructed, you still have Machado for another 10 years. You have Xander Bogaerts, you have Tatis. You have these guys for the next decade. Now, the opposite flip side of that, would be Xander isn't performing right now. Tatis is still young. Machado will not be young at the tail end of his contract. Kind of goes back to our previous conversation of when you're in San Diego, you got to do what you got to do. Look, when we're talking AJ Preller, I was on your guys' show last year, and I remember saying, if last year didn't work out, AJ is going to be on the hot seat, and this is going to be the downfall of AJ Preller. He's still at the helm, and he's still calling the shots, which is a bit surprising to this point. But I will say this. He's had a couple failed attempts at roster construction, but he has still been able to maintain the prospects and the farm system throughout. So they were able to trade a handful of prospects, including Kenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, James Wood, over to the Nationals to acquire Juan Soto. Didn't really work out for them. They did have the NLCS run, but overall, probably more of a failed attempt at the success. Well, now I'm thinking, okay, you give up the farm to get Soto. That farm system must be in disarray. Well, now you bring up Jackson Merrill. He's hitting 340 on the season. They have Ethan Salas, who's number 8 prospect in baseball. And then they have 5 top 100 prospects, according to MajorLeagueBaseball.com. So despite trading for, the entire farm to get Soto, despite pumping out these contracts and being more aggressive than other GMs are in Major League Baseball, they still, coming into the season, have a top 10 farm system in baseball. So say what you want about AJ and his ability to construct a roster. Somehow, amid it all, he's still been able to maintain a farm system, which speaks to his ability to construct not just a roster, but an entire organization.
Yeah. Well, that actually gives me a little bit more respite. And I feel like a lot of Padres fans breathe a sigh of relief when you get a baseball man on to talk about things that are coming for us down the line, because there's been a lot of disappointments with AJ Preller, but it does seem like, whether it's sleight of hand, he has a little magic left. And so this roster is performing well to start the season. Hey, Danny, we appreciate it every time. Thanks for jumping on the show.
Yeah, always good seeing your faces, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
My man. There he goes. Danny Vietti, CBS Sports. It's the Wake and Rake podcast. Go check him out there as well. Okay. Coming up next, more bird talk. No, I'm kidding. Coming up next, we got to get into a little golf storyline. Really,
mouthwash, jukebox, gasoline.
What are you singing?
Pistols are pointing at a poor man's pockets, smiling eyes ripping out of his sockets. Got a devil's haircut in my mind.
Got a
Devil's haircut in my mind. Little Beck. Beck's going to be out at Wonderfront.
That's right.
Coming up Sunday,
May 12th.
That's the date. 877-767-4760. Caller number 7.
Yeah.
Right now, you're going to win some
discussed
Wonderfront tickets. But a little news out of golf that, I'd take the money.
I would take the money. I would definitely take the money. Hey, speaking of money, if you got $150 burning a hole in your pocket, I've got the perfect place to spend it. Ronald McDonald House is a very important community asset here in San Diego. It's located right across the street from our children's hospital, and the San Diego Giving Back raffle is selling tickets for $150, and this is a great way to give back to the Ronald McDonald House. I'll explain the Ronald McDonald House significance in our community in a second, but check out some of the things you can win. This is the 2024 San Diego Giving Back raffle, entering its 20th year of existence, and they have more than 2,000 prizes, including 20 vacations, 20 vehicle options, 20 days of $20,000 prizes. It all leads up to the biggest prizes being awarded on July 25th. Every raffle supporter is guaranteed to win a prize in the grand prize drawing. So $150 guarantees you a prize in the grand prize drawing. And it also guarantees that you're going to help out a great cause here. That warms my heart. I spent a lot of time during my playing career in the NFL visiting Ronald McDonald houses around the country, but especially the one here in San Diego. Like I said, located just 300 steps from our children's hospital. They provide overnight lodging, warm meals, and other programs and services for families to support families while they have a child in medical crisis or visiting a specialist here at our children's hospital. So again, the San Diego Giving Back raffle, it is the best money you will spend, and you're going to support a great cause. Again, that's the San Diego Giving Back raffle. Gosh, I'm just so sore from all the pats on the back I'm getting lately. It's crazy. My shoulders, my mid back especially. Everybody's just like, dude, your testosterone is it's so high right now. It's so optimized. It's so perfect. I'm like, I know. Relax already.
Hey, Rich, you got a second?
Yeah, what's up?
I just want to say, man, like your testosterone looks awesome right now.
Thank you.
All
My
right.
numbers have recovered nicely. I was low. I was on the low average side. I had no idea, actually. One thing I did know is I was exhausted. So at 37 years old, and this is very recently, I went into Dr. Roy David's office over at a Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone. He's the medical director over there. He's a double board certified plastic surgeon, well known in Southern California for all the work he's done for many people. And he's gotten tremendous reviews on that side of things. But in terms of the Man Zone, this is a brand new operation where he has provided a great asset to men around San Diego County. If you are like me and you're waking up every day, regardless of how much sleep you've gotten, exhausted, if you're feeling like you don't have the enthusiasm you used to have going to the gym, when you work out, you're not seeing the results you're used to, or maybe you're trying to lose some of that belly fat and it's not working out for you. And you're like, well, I'm putting in the effort. I got the diet dialed in and I'm at the gym every day, but I look in the mirror and I see the same old flabby mess. I get it, man. I was there. And the reality was, I didn't know, but my testosterone was in the low average range. And I wouldn't have known had I not gotten tested over at the Man Zone, because none of the other normal symptoms were there that people talk about with low testosterone, which, by the way, if you're struggling with anything, especially in the bedroom, do not be ashamed. Run out to the Man Zone right now. Don't walk, because you get tested and they get you on a protocol and you could get your testosterone right back up into ship shape. Dr. Roy David and his staff over there make things easy and comfortable. They've got this awesome lobby. When you walk in, it doesn't feel like a sterile medical environment. You walk into like a man cave. You walk in, you sit down. They sit you down in a room with a big screen TV. They got a beer fridge. They got a little bourbon you could spill for yourself. Maybe you just finished up your shift at work and you just want to kick your feet up and relax for a second before you go in, get your T levels checked. And if you're low, they're going to get you on a protocol that's going to get you right. And you're going to feel better within a week's time. For me, 2 weeks into my testosterone replacement therapy, I was already feeling the positive effects. I'm feeling better at the gym. I'm feeling better at home. I've got more energy for everything I want to do in life. The zest in life is back. So if you're struggling right now, if you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, get your T levels checked today. And when you go to the Man Zone, tell them Rich sent you. Check them out at themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We are going to have an 8 o'clock hour of 3 separate ticket giveaways. So if you're interested in going to see San Diego Strike Force, if you're interested in seeing the Lakeside Rodeo, or if you're interested in going to day 3, Sunday's Day of Wonderfront, where Beck is performing, I suggest you listen to this show coming up next. Okay. We have a lot to get to, so we're going to be very short here on time. We went a little longer with Danny Vietti. But the Padres, they nearly had a historic moment yesterday. That would have been cool. Yeah. They move on to the Blue Jays next. We'll give a early preview on what that's going to look like. Also, we've been working on our Blue Jay bird calls.
Yep.
So we'll unveil those. They're not songbirds. Turns out they sound like crows.
Well, but chipmunks, like.
Christmas time is here.
Yeah.
And also, how about this? We found out why old Billy B couldn't get a job in the NFL. Turns out somebody very close to him was talking a whole lot of smack.
Or mac and cheese.
Right.
Different guy?
That's a different guy.
God.
So that's your first lap of the day. There he goes. There he goes. Wow. All right. Well, while he's running, I'm going to talk about his feet, because actually TD was with me when I got fitted for my Good Feet store art support. So was Fletch. We all went down to the Mission Valley location together. And the Good Feet store, they do something really special. They let you actually try the product before you buy the product. So they put they put your feet through all the testing, and they balance test you, and they make sure they figure out where you put the weight on your feet. And then they fit you to these arch supports, and then they slide them into your shoes, and they have you walk around the store. Yeah, if they're uncomfortable, they'll tweak them for you. If you don't want them, you don't have to get them. But I promise you, if you do, if you're anything like me, you're going to have a lot of success with these, especially if you're a sufferer of lower body joint pain, foot, ankle, knee, hip, back pain, even your mid back or your neck. Because when you wear these arch supports, it corrects your posture, and it could have lasting effects on, even some of the neck pain that you're having or experiencing if you are. So, Good Feet store, super easy, super simple buying process. They also check in with you after a week to make sure everything's going perfectly. You can go in anytime. They'll answer any of your questions about your arch supports. And also, when you buy Good Feet store, you buy local. They employ a ton of San Diegans. They have a manufacturing plant in Carlsbad, California. So it's a great opportunity to support local while improving your balance, improving your performance in anything you do, and also experiencing great pain relief. Check them out at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com.
Hour 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Summit Racing Equipment. Starting off with the Pods, they fell yesterday to the Brewers 1-0. Michael King had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning. Day off today before the Padres welcome the Blue Jays to town for a weekend series beginning tomorrow. Head on down, by the way, to the Gas Lamp tomorrow before the game. Go to the Naughty Barrel. Awesome bar, awesome food, awesome drinks. Darren Smith will be there noon to 3, John and Jim 3 to 6. NBA play-in tournament. Last night was the Eastern Conference. The 76ers advanced. They'll take on the Knicks in the first round. Bulls and Heat play tomorrow alongside the Kings and Pelicans in the West. That'll decide who takes the last 2 spots in the playoffs. It's Car Care Month, and Summit Racing has what you need for bumper-to-bumper care. Revive the interior, exterior, under hood, and more. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions do apply. Offer ends 5/5/24.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. We are doing it.
Are we high right now?
Yeah, you're damn right. We're high on supply, and we've got a vast amount. We have tickets to give away this hour. We're giving away 3 separate tickets. 1 pair to the Lakeside Rodeo, 1 pair to San Diego Strike Force, 1 pair of tickets to Wonderfront Music and Arts Festival, the Sunday shows. You're going to be able to see Beck. You just have to keep listening here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Also, it's Bar Cart Friday Eve. So happy Bar Cart Friday Eve to all who celebrate as well. We don't know what liquor or wine or beer or brewer that we're going to have in studio with us tomorrow, but someone's coming in.
Right.
Where'd you go? You went peach mango on the bang?
Yeah, so
That looked grody to me. I didn't want that one.
by the way, when I'm standing in the break room, I scan my, my Apple Cash or whatever you call it at the vending machine. I'm about to click the button. I'm like, does anybody want to bang? And then I get this look from one of the ladies in sales like, excuse me. And I'm like, energy?
Right.
Bang energy?
Right.
That means she thought about it beforehand.
I did it.
Wow.
I was sitting there just like,
wow.
I was offering you caffeine. I don't know what you were thinking, lady.
Wow.
Yeah.
Golly.
So that happened.
Man, sexual harassment.
Well,
committed to Rich Ornberger in the iHeart kitchen.
I can't believe this. I'm going to go to our HR department.
Yeah. As soon as we find one.
Yeah.
I think it's in Texas.
Our HR department is in Texas?
I think so.
San Antonio?
I was just there. Well, actually, I wasn't in San
Your
Antonio.
boots on the ground.
That's why Rich wins.
Yeah,
for the various HR lawsuits against you.
Yeah, well, was it for?
Or maybe you went to file in person.
Yeah, maybe it was me submitting paperwork because when I ask a question like that, I feel the eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, like I feel them upon me.
Right. Also, Fletch. Now, okay, in our break room, when we're brewing coffee, they have like these carafes that go underneath the coffee maker.
Curtis.
Curtis.
Yeah,
Curtis the
carafe.
coffee maker.
Yeah.
That's correct. So the carafe goes underneath. The coffee just pours down into the, I don't know, 1.5 inch open hole into the carafe.
Yeah.
When we were in there, they had it all put together, like the spout and everything was in the carafe. So now the hole was like, I don't know, the size of a pencil eraser.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were brewing it right into. Which, would you brew the coffee that way? It seems like
Hell no.
those are tight parameters.
You got to take the little top thing off.
That's what I'm saying.
You
There was
gotta-
chaos that
It's
ensued in
going to
there.
splatter all over the place.
Yeah.
Sexual harassment, splattered coffee.
Couldn't believe that.
There was sponges.
Yeah, there was sponge talk, a lot of sponge talk. Look, things happen. Life
Mhm.
moves fast, especially for a Padres team who all of a sudden in a week's time has completely changed the way we feel about this team. Now, inside of a clubhouse, inside of a locker room, I can promise you winning and losing matters. But overall, you develop a team identity, and that's just kind of who you are. But on the outside looking in, it's way different. Like fans, this show, it's like the wind changes almost daily depending on what happens on the baseball field. The Padres, when they were having a little bit of a rough start, either tying series or losing series to start their season, it very much so felt like, oh gosh, the sky is falling. Meanwhile, inside the clubhouse, I'm sure much of the talk was, hey, we're going to start winning ball games more than we're losing them because we're a much better team than our record reflects. And I think if you really scrutinized a lot of the details over some of those losses and some of those tied series, we probably could have gotten there as fans too, but we're more emotional. And so all of a sudden, in just, like I said, I guess it's an 8-day stretch.
These last 6 games, like, you feel really good about it because it was a 4-2 road trip, and like that does feel awesome. Now, yesterday, I told Danny Vianney, I spend way too much time looking through Padres Twitter and what fans are saying about the Padres, and right now it is all hands on deck, kill Xander Bogaerts because he's been terrible, and he's been bad. He has been, and he's making a lot of money on the Padres. But there's this controversy that began yesterday, actually, with the Darren Smith show and trickled into John and Jim, and this morning is all over Twitter. And Darren put something out yesterday where he said on Friday, when the Padres return home, there should be a standing ovation the first time Xander comes to the plate to show him that we got his back, right? The Padre fans got his back. That's a good idea, right? Jim, of course, went the opposite way. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, because that's a very Jim Russell thing to say. Now, the internet is completely torn. Twitter is both sides. Like, it's like, oh, that's a great idea. We could show Xander that, hey, it'll get better, man. We believe in you. We trust you. And then there's the other side of the internet. Imagine if you had a bad 2 weeks at your job and you walked into the conference room and people started clapping. Like, you'd feel pretty bad about yourself.
I feel like that would happen here.
I don't know where I'm at on this one. What do you like? Is that it's worked in baseball before? We've seen examples of it where, like, a guy's struggling, the fan base gets behind him, gives him a lot of support, and then all of a sudden he, like, breaks out of the funk. But it does seem kind of rude to, like, kick a guy while he's down almost, if it feels sarcastic at all.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that would feel sarcastic, though. You walk up to the plate, the crowd roars, they stand up on their feet to show, like, hey, buddy, we know it's a slump. We know you got it. We're here for you. You know, in or out, we're in.
Trey Turner.
Right.
Trey Turner with the Phillies. I can't remember it was last season. It was last season.
It happened with Trey Turner. It's happened with Nick Castellanos before, where it's like guys all of a sudden break out of these slumps because the home fan base really gets behind them and supports them. Their first at bat after a long road trip.
Yeah, look, so Jim Russell is a good example of the worst kind of sports fan. I mean, it's true, though.
We call him Woat for a reason.
Yeah. He is the worst of all time, and he lives up to the nickname. It's the fan who's never appeased, the fan who, look, nobody, and I promise you, absolutely nobody in that locker room or clubhouse or in any sport is playing for the fan like Jim Russell. I promise you, as a player, we just designated those people as complete a-holes and we moved on with our lives because, look, I mean, to be perfectly frank, nobody cares what some entitled 30-something-year-old thinks about you. They just don't.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I don't care what anybody who fits that description cares about me in my personal life, in my professional life, not unless they're paying my salary.
Well, let's take it to you and make it a little more personalized. So back when you were playing, if and I don't even know, this doesn't really happen in football, but if it's like now coming onto the field, Rich Orenberger, and you had just had like the worst game of your career where you let Phillip Rivers get sacked 7 times, and you're coming out next week and you're still starting because the guy behind you isn't good enough, and they figure even though you just gave up 7 sacks, you're a better option than what they have on the bench. And the fan base, instead of booing you because you just let Phillip Rivers get sacked 7 times, they really rally behind you and they give you a big standing ovation. Mentally, what does that do to you?
No, it's a good thing. It makes you feel good when you feel, look, in life, this is true across the board. And I mean, this is as true. Look, what's funny about a fan like a Jim Russell, who's, opposed to this vehemently, is in his life, he likes to be praised. In his life, he likes to be desired or wanted like anybody else does, because that makes you feel good. And so, look, that would make anybody feel good. If people are cheering for you and you're in a performance-based industry, it even if it feels like they're trying to help you through something, that support feels good. That's part of the reason why you got into it in the first place. Maybe you had a dad or an uncle or a grandfather or a mom or an aunt who you wanted to impress, and doing something cool made them smile, or it earned you a pat on the back. And then that made you more eager for the next pat on the back. Like, that's how you kind of scaffold success, is by having little successes along the way to equal larger successes.
Well, I mean, it takes the pressure off.
Yes.
It takes the pressure off of, oh God, I got to get out here and hit. Otherwise they're going to come after me with pitchforks. So you back that off. By the way, you can't go in reverse. Like, you can't be mad at him and then decide, you know what, we should try to build this guy up. So why not build him up now? And if it doesn't work, then be pissed at Xander.
Well, and everyone's pretty pissed at him already.
Yeah. But you haven't done it yet.
But trust me, it would be overall more. I understand it. Like, not everybody's going to be thrilled with a guy who's getting paid $280 million who hasn't done very well for this team yet. I get it. I'm not even suggesting that Jim Russell's wrong for feeling the way he feels, or any Padres fan who feels the same way Jim does about Xander Bogaerts currently. You're entitled to feel any way you want to feel. My point in bringing up a fan like Jim Russell, or any of the fans on Padres Twitter who will, enunciate their vitriol in 144 characters to get it off their chest. Yeah, that's part of being a fan too. But you know what? The reality is, most players don't care. Most players don't read it. You are literally shouting into the wind, and it is never going to reach its desired location. You are doing that for yourself and for yourself alone.
Well, 100%, because as you're shouting into the wind, you want the people who are around you to respond to it, whether or not you're looking for a negative reaction or a positive reaction. You're looking for the reaction. But shouting into the wind, you're correct, is not for Xander. But now standing up and giving a standing ovation at the ballpark, that is for Xander.
Here would be the ultimate thing. The Padres have Xander Bogaerts till he's 41 years old, and they're going to pay him a lot of money over the next 7 or 8 years. Like, Xander is going to get older on this contract, and right now, when he's supposed to be in like the tail end of his prime, he isn't really performing for the Padres, who need him to perform this year, and they need him to not just be the clubhouse leader, but they need that bat that was in Boston. They need the defense that was in Boston, and so far, it just hasn't come to fruition. So if Xander Bogaerts himself, obviously he's trying to be good. Like you've said that many times before, Rich, it's like nobody goes out there as a pro athlete and isn't trying to be the best they can possibly be. Like everyone is trying to earn their paycheck. It's just a big paycheck to earn. And I feel like Padre fans, Xander can't win.
And also, oh, sorry, TD.
No.
Also, like when you think about what happened here with Juan Soto, right? So Juan Soto can't control what he was traded for. The Padres really wanted Juan Soto, so they were willing to unearth 5 really important prospects from their minor leagues to get Juan Soto's talents.
CJ Abrams hit a home run yesterday.
Yeah, that's a bummer. To come over here and play for the Padres.
The Nationals put a tweet out that said, "Our franchise shortstop."
Also a bummer.
Has anybody checked on Juan Soto? Or he
hit a home run yesterday.
Turns out he's doing pretty good with the Yankees now. But the point is, he came to San Diego to play the best possible baseball he could play. Now, it didn't end up working out the way that anybody was hoping. Obviously, a 1.5-year stint with the Padres before moving on to New York was not what our expectations were. Certainly weren't mine as a fan.
I don't think they were Peter Seidler's either.
They weren't Peter Seidler's. They weren't Juan Soto's. Juan Soto wanted to come here and crush it. Juan Soto wanted to come here and have Peter Seidler sitting at a table across from Scott Boras and have them hammer out the lifetime deal like Fernando and Machado and Bogaerts just signed.
Has General Mills or Post, have they tried to work a deal?
Here we go.
And make Juan Soto's?
Yeah.
Why would that be a lap?
Do you really have to ask?
I mean, if they made Juan Soto's here in San Diego while he was here, you wouldn't have bought and ate Juan Soto's? Honey Nut Juan Soto's?
You make me so mad and so happy at the same time. It's like, okay, so he puts one lap on the board right before we go into halftime where he may add laps.
But there were NBA games last night.
There were 2.
So right now there's one finger up.
Well, let's start
Where are we going with
let's start with the Padres. Streak over. Series sweep still eludes the Padres. Michael King had himself a no-hitter going until the 7th, but then the Blue Jays got a hit and then a run, and then that was enough to down the Padres. They lose yesterday to the Brewers 1-0. Blue Jays coming into town tomorrow. Caitlin Clark might not be getting a big fat check out there on the court, but Nike is making up for any lost profit as the two sides have now agreed on a lucrative 6-figure deal. Damn.
She's in some drama right now. We can maybe get to that tomorrow.
I don't try to drown up any drama, little mama.
Might be too.
Why would I get a lap for Fergie? Anyway, she's getting a shoe deal, guys, from Nike. And I'm just hoping that these shoes have the proper Caitlin Clark supports. In the NBA.
Wow, 3 laps already?
The Bulls made them the lost city of Atlanta's 131-116. What?
Well, you're sticking at 3.
Right.
That was okay.
The Miami Heat season essentially over. Jimmy Butler, man, oh man, suffered a right knee MCL injury. Expected that he will be missing several weeks now. So I'm assuming they're done. But the 76ers said, kiss Miami 105-104.
Okay, you're down to 2.
You're
down
back
to 2. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Solid halfie.
Do those now.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll
It does. Jimmy Butler and Zion both getting hurt in the initial play-in round. Both of them were supposed to play on Friday, which obviously Jimmy Butler, Zion Williamson makes the NBA more interesting, and it looks like neither of them are going to be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a huge
Bummer, man.
Yeah, I agree. You know, here's the funny thing about the NBA play-in tournament, or I guess rounds you would call it. This actually works. I'm excited for Friday.
So am I.
Urgency is it's everything in sport.
And I had a lot of fun watching last night. Kobe White, who was at North Carolina, remember a few years ago? Like he was a stud in college, and he hadn't really found his footing yet in the NBA. This year was his breakout season. 42 points last night, his career high. Like stuff like that happens in the playing game where it's like, oh, NBA can be fun. It just has to happen on its terms.
Yeah. Well, and also single elimination helps. It absolutely helps. I think he's running an additional lap. He's on lap number 3. I think he's actually banking one. I didn't know we were allowed to do that. So TD will be back in a second. He's just wrapping that up. Yeah. Quick thought on the Caitlin Clark shoe deal. What's funny about that? Well, it's not funny. What's interesting about that is riding off of all of this fame and success that she's had at the collegiate level. They better hustle up and sell some of these shoes because, again, I don't know if the flame is flickering, if it's going to go out as she makes her debut in the WNBA. She is the hottest sports star right now in the country. So get these manufactured immediately, slap her name on it, start selling shoes because at very least, I mean, you'll break even on this deal if you sell millions of pairs of sneakers, if not more, or if not make some serious cheddar.
Look, they're going to make money on the deal. Every middle school, every high school, every junior college, every college has a women's basketball program. I would imagine most of those girls and women are going to be in Caitlin Clark shoes.
I have to imagine.
Well,
I have to imagine.
Also, part of the deal, I mean, it is what it is part of a PR campaign.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, by the way, also an
State Farm.
advertising campaign because we're talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it works. And frankly, again, my sincere hope is that Caitlin Clark's involvement with the Indiana Fever, which, by the way, I didn't even know Indiana had a basketball team in the WNBA until she was drafted to them. But I mean, like that's part of this too, is like all of a sudden this becomes so significant because of what I just said. Like I had no awareness that Indiana even had a WNBA team.
And now everybody does.
Yeah.
And she went mega viral yesterday, and it wasn't the most positive thing in the world, but I thought she handled it fine. It was a jerk reporter out of Indiana did the thing that she does to her family after every game, the heart. And she was like, oh, you like that? It was weird. And then he's like, well, if you start doing that to me after every game, we'll get along just fine. Like it was just creepy and kind of weird.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the same reporter that like referred to her like a sports car?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
It might have been a separate
the
cool press conference.
I saw a clip yesterday where it was like the reporter did the hand gesture to her that she does to her family after every game. And then she elaborated that she does that to her family after every game. That's why he's seen her doing that before. And he says, well, if you start doing it to me after every game, we'll get along just fine. It was just weird.
Wow. You hear that, sweetheart? Yeah. Like, I mean, what are we doing?
But the point is that
you give me a heart on
has Jesus. I think he banked one, so you're stay right where you are.
Did you run 3 laps or 2 laps?
I ran 3 because I owed from yesterday.
Oh, well,
You owed like 4 from yesterday, but
It was,
your cap
it was
was
3. It was 3
But the
yesterday.
point is, like that clip of Caitlin Clark has 7 million views on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like it's everything with her right now is just going so viral that this shoe, there's no way it fails.
No, I
No.
get it. And like we talk about a 10-figure contract and it's like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But the truth is you sell 1 million shoes. I mean, if you price them appropriately, say they're $60 a pair.
Or
You're making $60 million.
I mean, if it was a $10 million contract and you sold $1 million at $11 a pair, you're making money.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be $11. They're not going to be $60. I bet you they're $120 shoes.
Yeah,
because that's what basketball shoes are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So look, it's times are changing, right? The college basketball semifinals, or I should say the Final Four that she was involved in, at least, and the final that she was involved in, obviously rated better than certain NFL games from last season.
18 million people.
So
the WNBA draft had more people watching than the highest rated baseball game in years, which was Dodgers Padres. Was it 2 Sundays ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
That had 2 million viewers. The WNBA draft had 2.5 million.
And they might have all clicked off after she went number
Yeah,
one.
but they don't care. They
don't
want
care.
the number.
They want the number, and then they can sell to advertisers, and that's what makes the world go round.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Speaking of which, got to talk to you guys about my weight loss.
You used to go all the way around the world.
Yeah.
Gosh, so did my belt. Goodness. Belt size equator. Wink. Until I met Wayne and Chloe at sdfatloss.com. sdfatloss.com, it really works. We are proof because the 3 of us knuckleheads were given this plan and they said, yeah, don't call us until you lose 10 pounds. 4 days later, we lost 10 pounds. I couldn't believe it when I got on the scale. I was like, well, I guess that we can call them now because I might have been the last one done. Both of you guys had weighed in before me that day. And you're like, yeah, I'm already down 12. I'm already down 11. I hopped on the scale. I'm like, turns out I'm down 11 also. So let's get Wayne and Chloe on the fit. So this is, not only does it work fast. It works quickly. It works naturally. And if you don't want to take drugs or some of these expensive protocols that you're seeing everywhere, you don't have to. If you don't want to take meal plans, protein shakes, gross or goofy, calorie counting or point counting, you don't have to do any of that. With sdfatloss.com, like I said, you lose weight the natural way. And it's high time because we're about to start taking our shirts off, throwing on the bathing suits, get down to the beach. It's gonna be warmer weather here coming up in San Diego. So sdfatloss.com is where you should start the summer season. And if you go to sdfatloss right now and you mention Big Rich, TD, and Fletch that you heard about them from us, you save $200 on their program. That's sdfatloss.com, sdfatloss.com. And if you want to win tickets to the Lakeside Rodeo, I suggest you call us in 2 minutes at 8:27. For everybody listening on the app at home, if you want to go to Lakeside Rodeo, you will win if you're caller number 5 at 877-767-4760. That's 877-SORG-760. All right, coming up on the other side, boy, you would assume after working somewhere for 20-something years, you would get a back rub on your way out of the office. Turns out you get a kick in the pants. That's next.
This update is presented by Summit Racing Equipment. Starting off with the Padres, they fall yesterday to the Brewers 1-0 after Michael King took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Day off today before the Friars welcome the Blue Jays to town for a weekend series beginning tomorrow. If you're heading down to the Gaslamp tomorrow, make sure you stop by the Naughty Barrel on your way to the game. Darren Smith will be there noon to 3, John and Jim 3 to 6. Cheers a beer with the D. Smith or John and Jim. NBA play-in tournament last night was the Eastern Conference. The 76ers advance. They'll take on the Knicks in the first round. Bulls and Heat will play tomorrow. It's Car Care Month, and Summit Racing has what you need for bumper-to-bumper care. Revive the interior, exterior, underhood, and more. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions do apply. Offer ends 5/5/24.
A royalty-free clean bandit, I think. Not going to be at Wonderfront this year, but you could be. We've got a pair of tickets we're going to be giving away here very, very shortly. You want to keep it locked in. Wonderfront Day 3 out there. Bet going to be headlining. Like I said, we got a pair for you if you just keep it locked in here. We also have a pair of tickets to Indoor Football League San Diego Strike Force. The game coming up on April 28th against the Bay Area Panthers. SDStrikeforce.com for tickets and info. Also, keep it locked in here.
Gosh.
What a way. God, we're doing so much for the people.
Yeah.
And they love it.
And honestly, you look no further. Like, you don't have to look at the promotions department. Like, we are staring at these tickets ourselves. Spending our hard-earned dollars.
We just keep dialing.
Gosh. And we just want to pass it along to you guys.
Guys, great news. Robert Nickel, our bird expert, said, like, I can come back when the Orioles are in town.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
We're going to need him. Yep. Save that contact information because
in NFL season, you got the Cardinals, you got the Eagles, you got the Ravens,
the Falcons.
So many.
The Eagles, did you mention them?
I said it.
Okay.
Wow, he's going to be a weekly guest.
What about the Seahawks? Is that an actual bird?
I don't. We'll have to ask Robert Nickel.
One person who will know, Robert Nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he won't give you just his 2 cents worth.
You want it? You want to finish it?
What are you talking about?
No, he already did.
Finish
it? That was it.
Robert Nickel.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say something about 5 cents, but
what?
No.
What? 5 cents?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but
2 cents.
2 cents.
Robert Kraft reportedly warned Falcons owner Arthur Black not to trust Bill Belichick during his head coach interview with the Falcons.
Just real quick, did they warn, or did Robert Kraft warn the Falcons because he just is a terrible masseuse? It's not good with his hands.
You mean Belichick?
What did I say?
Like, wait, you mean Robert Kraft reached out to Arthur Blank to warn Arthur that Bill's not a good masseuse?
That is correct, yes.
Wait, do you think that Bill Belichick was the one massaging Robert Kraft?
Trust me, I've seen the video. That wasn't Bill. Okay? That was not Bill.
Are you sure?
That was one of the most uncomfortable videos to watch because I know Bobby Kraft, he was the owner of the football team that I played for. And so many times I shook that man's hands. And
it wasn't his hands that were dirty.
Well, no, it certainly wasn't. He wasn't doing any of the work that day. Anyways, this is a big surprise because let's be very honest with each other. Bill Belichick made Robert Kraft who he is. Bill Belichick is the reason that Robert Kraft is even relevant. Robert Kraft bought a fledgling sports franchise that was a nothing burger with cheese, and Bill Belichick, through the Patriot way and very intelligently drafting Tom Brady and then entrusting Tom Brady, even as Drew Bledsoe was getting healthy to continue leading this football team, they went on a 20-year reign of success. So the fact that he has the audacity to call up Arthur Blank and be like, hey, if there's one guy you shouldn't hire, it's Bill. It seems a little underhanded.
This guy sucks.
Like, the story came out on Bill's birthday.
Wow.
I guess he can't help that, but
well,
333 wins, 6 Super Bowl rings with the Patriots, nearly 30 seasons of head coaching, and he can't get a good job recommendation for the owner where he did the majority of that winning as a head coach?
Not just winning. I mean, you made the dude hundreds of millions of dollars.
Billions.
Billions of dollars.
That organization was worth nothing when comparatively. Obviously it was expensive to buy into the NFL back then too, but comparatively nothing compared to what it's worth now. And it's because of Bill Belichick. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, Tom Brady was very important in part, but early years, Tom Brady was regarded as a game manager because he was. Bill Belichick was the architect of a defense and a run game and a coaching staff that carried the Patriots for a decade. And then Tom Brady helped it along for the second decade of their success.
So Robert Kraft bought the Patriots for, any guesses?
I'm going to say $47 million.
Oh, way more than that.
Okay.
But not a lot. $172 million.
Okay.
Right.
And modern day Patriots, as of 2023, were appraised at $6.7 billion.
Wow. Wonder what if it went down after Tom Brady left. You know, it's a Patriots was the Patriots Brown.
No, because the
I could see
other
that.
teams have been purchased since then, and every time a team gets purchased, it increases the value.
Yeah, because who just got purchased for like
Broncos?
Was that the last one for $8 billion?
They might not have been the last one, but they were the ones that like kind of reset the market.
No, that was the last team purchased. I think that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
$8 billion.
Now owned by Walmart, where they roll back prices.
This excerpt, that's right. This excerpt from the Patriots, or I should say the ESPN reporting on the Patriots. The Falcons were the only team that was really engaged with Belichick during the hiring portion of the offseason. Every other team with a head coach opening passed on him, not even offering him an interview, but the Falcons appear to be serious about Belichick, or at least Blank was. He reportedly had 2 lengthy interviews with Belichick on his mega yacht. But as Charles Robinson reported, after the Falcons hired Morris, one of the crossroads with Belichick was the element of realignment needed to maximize his hire, giving him the power to make decisions on football operations, personnel, and coaching. Belichick's candidacy also wasn't popular within the organization. According to ESPN, when Blank asked his top executives to rank all the candidates, Belichick didn't finish in the top 3. So what they're saying is, so Blank had a situation where none of his lieutenants wanted to hire Bill because they knew that Bill was going to come in and clear house, and all of them were going to lose their jobs. So very self-serving there. Obviously so. They want to keep their jobs. They think they're more apt to help this team win than Belichick. The other side of it was then Arthur Blank goes, geez, I'm not getting any internal support. Maybe I'll reach out to my friend Bob. So he calls up Robert Kraft and goes, hey, Bob, what'd you think of Bill? And he goes, total a-hole. Can't hire that guy. Unhireable.
Let me show you his record from last season.
Yeah, but in the conversation with Blank, Kraft delivered a stark assessment of Belichick's character. According to a source who spoke to 2 people, a close Kraft friend and a longtime Belichick confidant, the source quoted the Belichick source saying, Robert called Arthur to warn him not to trust Bill at all. Wow. That account was backed up, the source said, by a close Kraft friend. Multiple sources said Kraft spoke with some candor, in quotes, which is a very funny thing to put in quotes, to Blank about Belichick. Those sources declined to elaborate. One source close to Belichick said Kraft was, quote, a big part of why the Falcons passed on hiring him.
Wow.
So that is pretty intense.
Yeah. I mean,
we should start having all our meetings on yachts.
Dude,
I know.
Super yacht.
How many times yachts were mentioned? Like 7 times in this article.
A lot of yacht talk.
Look, do you think that like Bill had to get on a helicopter and then was flown out to a undisclosed location of the super yacht?
Dude, I pray that everybody was only wearing white.
Right.
And the only thing like dark about their appearances were the Ray-Ban sunglasses that looked like they were all cops from like 1980s movies.
And there's always like 12 women in bathing suits who never speak, but they're just there.
Yeah, and always seem to be drinking the same exact drink every single time you see them in the background.
Champagne never gets any lower. Wow. Man, we got bottom of the barrel coming up here in just a bit. We got some tickets to give away. But before all that, I mean, the important stuff. Look, if you're just in the market for a car, like maybe you're just thinking about it. Like, oh, you know what? I think maybe we'd like to get a new vehicle.
I'm considering it.
Okay. Well, you need to consider going over to North County Cadillac GMC. When you stop by, walk in and say, hey, look, I'm looking for Jamie, the GM. Okay. TD told me to come in here and say, hey, we heard you're best friends. And that's true.
No kidding. I ran into somebody else here who I was just talking about Jamie over at North County. And they said to me, like, legitimately, if you are interested in buying a car, you got to go there. They had an amazing buying experience with Jamie as well.
I love it, man. And it's story after story that comes up like that. Here's one. I can honestly say North County Cadillac GMC was one of the best dealer experiences I've had. Everyone I dealt with was amazing, from Jay, the sales manager, to my salesman, Paul, to the finance person, David. Everyone made sure I was happy and ready to move forward, and I understood the next steps. Look, I'm not the only one saying this, okay? I do bring my car there. I would purchase there again and again and again because they make it easy. They make it smooth, and they have incredible deals going on new Cadillac and GMC models like the Sierra 1500, the Yukon, or maybe you're looking for a electric Cadillac Lyric. They can also help you get a great deal on a pre-owned vehicle, and there's a reason why North County Cadillac GMC was voted San Diego's best domestic auto dealer in the San Diego Union Tribune Readers Poll. Go there, experience the difference yourself. Stop by North County Cadillac GMC in the heart of the Escondido Auto Mall today. North County Cadillac GMC, exceeding your expectations every time. And
we got a ticket giveaway.
What do you want to
go
do?
see Beck at Wonderfront?
I got 2 turntables and a microphone. I got 2 turntables and a microphone.
Horns. Anyways, look, Beck is going to be playing the Sunday show at Wonderfront Music and Arts Festival, and you're going. All you got to be is caller number 5 at 877-767-4760. Call at 8:45 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and you're going to go see Beck on Sunday. We'll see you in just a second for Bottom of the Barrel. Some people say 1,000 push-ups is way too many push-ups, but I say, look, if you could do 1,000 before breakfast and another 1,000 post-breakfast, that's 2,000 a day, and that's a good amount of push-ups. Why can I do so many push-ups? Because my testosterone is on point, thanks to the Man Zone at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery. Dr. Roy David. He is a miracle worker. He's the medical director over at the Man Zone. He is also a double board certified plastic surgeon, has been well known and renowned around San Diego and Southern California. Look, here's the deal. If you are a man in your late 30s, but especially if in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, you really have to get your testosterone levels checked every single year. It should be a requirement. Like, this should be something that's a part of your normal doctor visit. It isn't. And so you have to go to the Man Zone. Check them out at themanzone.com. When you go in there, it is not like a doctor's office where you're waiting in like some sterile room where you're sitting on that weird table with the paper on top of it. No, you get to kick back, sit in a lobby that feels like home. It feels like a man cave. You got sports on the big screen, got a little beer fridge next to you, a little tipple of bourbon if you're finished with your workday. It's really nice. It's very relaxing. And then you're welcomed into the doctor's office. They test your testosterone. If your T levels are a tick too low, or if they're very low, they're going to get you on testosterone replacement therapy. And it is a super easy process to start feeling better fast. Look, there are very few things in this world that deliver on their promises, right? Your people promise a lot of things that are never delivered on. Testosterone treatment delivers on the promise of making you feel better. That's what I was. I was experiencing sluggishness, drinking a ton of caffeine every day, felt like I was treading water and just trying to keep up with life. Well, now with proper testosterone, with my levels back in sync with where they're supposed to be and optimizing my health, like many men haven't done and really should, I feel great on a daily basis. So if you're like me, you're in your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, you haven't gotten your T levels checked yet, you should start your journey at themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, one more ticket giveaway this hour. San Diego Strike Force. If you want a pair of tickets, just keep listening. We're going to tell you how to win those in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, you got a list of all our winners here, Fletch?
I do actually.
We got a lot.
I'll pull that up. Luis, Abraham, Anthony, Albert.
How about that?
That's 4 so far. We got one more to go.
Wow.
So is it 3 A names? Luis, Abraham, Albert,
Anthony.
and Anthony.
Anthony.
Wow.
What the heck?
Jeez, okay.
Wow.
We'll see if we can pile up another one. Triple A so far.
Triple so far. Yeah. Man, we could be holding 4 aces? 4 A's?
4 of a kind.
I don't know.
4 of a kind.
Trying to work in an A-hole somewhere. Couldn't figure out how to do it.
That's coming up this afternoon. John and Jim. Jim Russell.
I think it is Jim Solo today, too.
Well,
is
oh
it
my
really?
gosh.
John's been on vacation all week.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. So yeah, Strike Force tickets coming up here. I couldn't even say that. Drunk.
You're doing
Strike Force tickets coming up here in just a bit. Tomorrow's a Bar Card Friday. It's brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations all throughout San Diego County. Very excited about that.
How much room do you have in your garage?
I got enough for like a large trailer, if that's what you're alluding to.
Yeah, because you saw the article that I saw. A PlayStation Experience trailer. It's like a truck trailer.
Yeah.
From all the way back in 2006 is on sale for $70,000.
Dude, 70 grand for this trailer seems like a deal.
Well, here's the funny thing.
Your computer just shut down
It
again.
did again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
fine.
going really well over here. Here's the thing about this storyline. I saw it and immediately went, "Oh God, poor Sarah."
Yeah.
Because I know TD's at home right now on her birthday of all
Right.
days, begging her, "Look, all we gotta do is refinance the house, take out a small lien against the house, and we too can have a PlayStation trailer from." Like the tail end of their PlayStation reign with the PS2.
It was the release of PSP.
Oh, it was the PSP.
The
Yeah.
PSP release. That's what this trailer was manufactured for. But if you ever go to basically any festival,
Sure.
they have a PlayStation set up, and if you walk inside, there's just PlayStations and TVs everywhere. You just go play games inside these trailers.
That's actually really rad.
Right.
Okay.
But this trailer, I mean, you would need a semi truck to pull it around. it's that big, and I'm thinking, I mean, that'd be kind of cool just to have.
It's not
Honey,
even
I
a
mean-
PS5.
I just
Yeah,
got off
but
the
like-
phone with Mac,
What?
and so not like the computer, the truck company. We could get a pretty affordable $90,000 semi-tractor trailer hauler that we could wheel around our new PS trailer with.
Dude, if I had the cash, I'd buy this right now. Right now. And I may drive it to work. Maybe my grocery getter. I don't know.
My grocery getter. I'm gonna hook that on the back of my GMC Sierra.
It'll pull it. It'll do it.
You're
I'm
damn
telling you.
right.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a GMC Sierra, head on over to North County Cadillac GMC. Talk to my friend Jamie over there. Tell him TD sent you.
All
Wow.
right, so check it out. A lot of thank yous to our winner, all A names. We got to give away that San Diego Strike Force ticket package. We'll do that right now. 877-767-4760. Caller number 5, you win those Strike Force tickets. We'll do all again tomorrow.